Hi. Are we live? I think we're live. Um, I see we have 3 viewers watching already. Welcome everybody this evening. I'm Owen. I'm going to be doing the live stream this evening. Bear with me a little bit. This is this is the first time I've done one of these live streams before. Um, what I really want to know first of all is if everybody can hear me and if everybody can see me. So if you can just leave a comment in the chat just to say if you can hear everything, if you can see everything. Welcome to my beautiful Christmas grotto that I've put together in my upstairs room this evening. Before we introduce our guests, I'm going to let a couple of people. I'm going to let people start to stream in. We won't kick off straight away. But what I'm going to do in a little bit is I'm just going to run down, the beers that we're going to be drinking, the people we're going to be talking to, generally sort of what the timetable is going to be like. Welcome everybody. Say hi in the chat. I see some people coming in already saying hi in the chat. Just let me know that you're here. Let me know what you're drinking now, and as we go through the night, I'm gonna let you. You can let me know what you're drinking. We have some questions, we have some quizzes, we have some games we're gonna play. We're gonna drink some beers. We're gonna eat some food, maybe. Well, at least I know I am, because we're gonna be drinking some strong beers. It's probably for the best. Cool. All right. I see some people coming in already. Thank you, Pete. I have made an effort this evening. I'm wearing my, as some people might have seen on social media, my Saint Bernardus Christmas jumper. You can if you can read the message what's on the back. Um, very graciously donated from not the monks but the brewery at Saint Bernardus. So shout out to them for donating a jumper for me. And if you stay all the way to the end of the stream, potentially a jumper for you as well there too. All right. Um, I'm just gonna throw up the timetable just to let you guys know what's gonna happen over the next little while. So anybody who's listened to Cabin Fever podcast back in the spring when we thought this was something quite new and exciting will sort of know, generally speaking, what the concept is. Basically, all it is me getting around. Well, back then it was a podcast, but now we're going to do it live, getting around the microphone and chatting with some friends of mine based in Brussels, based in Europe, and based in the rest of the world. We're going to talk, we're going to drink, we're going to have some fun. As I said, there are some prizes that we're going to give out towards the end of the night or as the night progresses. So if you want to win anything, stick around. We have 4 beers. So whereas the podcast, you could listen to it at your rest. Tonight, we're going to drink together. I was lucky enough to collaborate with Hop Burns and Black in London and Etre Gourmet in putting together a tasting kit. So shout out to those guys. For everybody who has the kit, I'm just going to run through the beers that we're going to be drinking in the order that we're going to be drinking so you can get them ready. And if you haven't got the kit, that's also fine. What you can do is just let us know in the chat what you're drinking when we're going through our various different beers. You can tell us what you're drinking, how it's tasting, and all the rest of it. So we're going to start off nice and gentle with the Père Noël, nice and easy 7%. Then we're going to graduate to something a bit stronger with Brasserie de la Seine. And if you bought the Hop Burns and Black kit, that's when you have your Ansbach and Hop Day Stout. Then the king of the Christmas beers, Stille Nacht, and then to top it all off, a nice and hearty St. Bernardus Christmas Ale to finish. Okay? So I'll just pop back on the schedule. We're gonna split it up into 4 parts. So 30-minute conversations. Once the conversation is finished, we'll say goodbye to that selection of guests, take a little break, put on some music. I might go to the toilet, get a glass of water, and then we'll bring on the next guests. And at the end of every section, there's going to be an opportunity for you guys who are watching to win some prizes. Total self-promoter that I am, I've got a couple of books to give away. So that's going to be prize number 1. We also have a beautiful bottle of Bûche de Noël, which is actually one of my favorite Christmas beers. It's not always easy to get, but it is an absolute monster. We have, for a very lucky contestant, their very own extra jumper of St. Bernardus. So you'll find out that's the very last gift. Obviously, we leave the best to last. And I'm just going to run over and get the final prize, which is a limited edition Brasserie de la Seine calendar, because I left it just on the other side. So give me a second. So this is the other one. As anybody who's drunk in Brussels or knows Brussels will know Brasserie de la Seine and their logos. So that's the fourth one. So might as well introduce. I see everybody's coming on. We've got about 50 people watching. I see the comments are coming in. Hi everyone. Hi Alex. Hi Pete. Hi Pat. Good to see you, Matt. Thanks, Matt. I know. I hope to see some other people on the stream wearing some festive outfits too. Not to put you guys under any kind of a pressure, but if I don't see any reindeer antlers or Santa hats, then I'll be disappointed. So I'm going to introduce our first four guests. Most of them will be familiar to anyone who's involved in the UK beer scene. Adrian Tierney-Jones is a writer and won lots and lots of awards, as he always is one to tell you. Lana Svetankova is a writer and a translator based in Ukraine. Excuse me. Stu McKinley is a co-founder of Yeasty Boys. He can explain if it's a UK brewery or if it's a New Zealand brewery at this stage. And Martin Oates, who's a co-host of the UK's longest running beer podcast, The Beer O'Clock Show. So I'm going to bring the guys in and we're going to get started. Hi, Stu.
Hiya. Good to see you.
Martin, you're in.
Hiya. Good to see you.
Lana, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
And we have Adrian, who kept jumping in and out for some reason.
I know. Yeah,
how is everybody this evening?
Hey?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. I have got a festive jumper on. It's a bit hard to see, but it's
it's
MacGyver.
It's
MacGyver or Richard Dean Anderson with a Jesus hairdo.
Of course. Well, welcome everybody. I'm going to pour my first beer, which is the Père Noël. That's from Duranca. Maybe while I'm doing that, we can just go around and ask everybody how they're doing and what are they drinking in the time-honored tradition. Lana, maybe we can start with you. How are you doing and what are you drinking?
Yeah, sure. I'm fine. Feeling festive already. Thanks to you. And I'm drinking Winter Welcome by Samuel Smith. No, this way. So this was the closest to winter time theme beer I could get here. Because I wanted to get something more Christmassy, but it's a nice, warming, malty beer. So I'm enjoying.
Cool. Stu, what about you? Have you got something from yourself or from somebody else?
I've got the Père Noël as well. So
cheers.
Pleased to get some Duranc, one of my favourite breweries. So it's been a long time since I've had this beer.
Well, it's a good excuse. It's as good an excuse as any. What about you, Martin? How are you getting on?
Yeah, not too bad. I think this is my second festive drinks online this week already. So hence the jumper is ready and good to go. And thanks to your suggestion, the Père Noël as well. And it's glorious. Nice and dry and bitter.
It is.
Which I think is what you'd expect from Duranca.
It's an interesting one to start off on a sort of Christmas themed beer evening because it's not. I mean, the name aside and a little bit of extra sort of density to it, it's not really what you think of when you think about a Christmas beer. But before we get into, for everybody watching, I'll give a brief explanation about that beer for everybody who has it. Adrian, before we do that, why don't you say hello and what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking lager, Hofbrau Winter. I'm also drinking it in a Sierra Nevada Christmassy glass celebration. So I've never worn knowingly a Christmas jumper, and I'm not going to start now. No. I got one to me by a brewery last year, and I gave it to my son, and he didn't want it. He gave it to his mate. But there you go. It's great, this beer, though.
It sounds interesting. Maybe I'll just give a brief explanation for everybody listening about the Père Noël, so as Stu said, is from Duranca. Brewery set up in the 90s. Probably one of the most famous, one of the most well-respected breweries that was set up around that time. Père Noël is a sort of a Christmassy version, you could say, of the XX Bitter. XX Bitter is probably the most their most famous beer. When it was brought out in the 90s, it was the most bitter beer in Belgium. I don't think it holds on to that reputation anymore. But the brewery were they were the guys who would have influenced a lot of the newer breweries coming through now, putting out very dry, very bitter beers. Père Noël is an example of that. 7% Christmas beer, which is about 3 or 4% below probably where we're going to finish up tonight. But I find it, as Martin was saying, really drinkable. It's a little, I always find XX Bitter quite a bracing beer, and this one has a little more body to it, a little more malty character. Something that's interesting about this, as people who follow Belgian beer will have seen, Duranca have been updating their labels in the last little while. Fun fact, and also promo for an article that's coming out on Brussels Beer City next week. The guy who does those labels is the same guy who does Cantillon and has designed for Brasserie de la Seine, which is sort of an impressive triumvirate of breweries. But yeah, so enjoy your drinks. Cheers.
Chin chin.
Yes.
Cheers.
And I thought we could maybe just, as we would have started off had we been doing the podcast, just check in with you guys and kind of see what your Christmas is looking like this year. Is it much changed? Is it different? I mean, given that everybody's sort of working under different situations. I know, Lana, you're in Switzerland. You guys are in the UK. I'm in Belgium. Everywhere's a little bit different, but we're all sort of, going through the same stuff. So, I don't know, Martin. Maybe you wanna crack on. How's your Christmas looking like this year?
I think family-wise, it's going to be quieter, pared down. I think Christmas Day, usually we go to see my sister-in-law, who cooks for about 50 people, and there's 10 of us. So I think it'll just be my wife, my 2 stepdaughters, and myself, and our pet bulldog. To be honest, and hopefully they're not watching, so I'm quite looking forward to it myself. Driving, if it's one of those clear, crisp Christmas days, go out for a run or a bike ride, and just have a bit of a chilled out day, and ultimately drink the beers I want to drink as well, which I think is always a bit of a bonus at Christmas.
Yeah, you don't have to end up at a relative's house who knows that you love beer and buys you, the craft imitation from the local supermarket. Exactly.
Although I have to admit, my nan, my wife's nan, has got quite good at just going staple, just buying a case of Adnams for me. So it's not all bad.
Yeah. Sure. What about you, Lana? I know you're still in Switzerland at the moment. I don't know if you have plans to travel back home for the holidays, but what's a Ukrainian Christmas like? Normally, under normal circumstances.
Actually, it's quite different because most of times, I think at least till 5 years ago, the normal celebration of Christmas took part on the 7th of January, so after the New Year. And it's more like a homey, like more kind of religious holiday.
Yeah.
So it's more about like food, connection with family, not that big celebration as in Western European countries and US. It's more quiet. But last 5 or so years, it's been adopted to start celebrating like maybe in the middle of December as well. Mm-hmm. So a lot of Christmas trees, a lot of Christmas lights, people are joyous. But nowadays it's like way more quiet because there will be no big Christmas markets, no gatherings at all because of the situation. But anyway, people have their own Christmas lights like these ones. So to keep the mood at least a bit celebratory, I think.
Yeah. And are you going to be staying in Switzerland this year, or are you going to be heading back home?
Yeah, we're stuck here anyway.
I mean, my mind, when I think Switzerland and Christmas, I just imagine you're just bathing in chocolate for for the whole time? I mean, not like not to. I mean, we're not quite past the watershed yet, and I wasn't meant as anything. But you know, I just imagine, you know, lakes of chocolate. You know, lint.
I have to
lint
say,
from every corner.
you can find lakes of chocolate any time of year here, so it doesn't get any better or worse on Christmas. But I think I have never seen so many roasted chestnuts anywhere in my life for winter season. So the small little booths are everywhere. Nice houses, smoky aroma, and every time I walk by, I start thinking, I want to put this in beer.
Mm. What's the what's the Christmas beer situation like over there?
Well, more or less, it's mostly Belgian beer, but one local brewery does a twist. They do a Tannenbaum beer every year. So they brew with a Fear tree. Every time it's a new style, like porter or a double IPA. I think they did Wild. Last year it was porter, but I don't know what they done this year because it was supposed to be a public day, like open door day at the brewery, but they didn't do it.
Okay. Yeah. And Stu, coming to you, like the only exposure I have to an Antipodean Christmas is Australian people eating barbecue on the beach. Is that also a New Zealand tradition as well?
Yeah, I mean, in general, my family's always grown up with the traditional kind of European style Christmas, which is ridiculous, you know, if it's a hot Christmas day, because I mean, we have had one Christmas day that was like 32 degrees, but generally it would probably be early 20s or something like that. So it does seem a bit strange to be eating like, you know, the full roast Christmas dinner with all the trimmings and everything, and drinking, you know, kind of beers and things. But I guess the weird thing this year is because we love the fact that we can do that and it's cold here and we have like a proper, you know, like Northern Hemisphere Christmas. But it's always been kind of on our own anyway, because, you know, most of my family's back in New Zealand. I've got some family here in the UK, but we tend not to get together at Christmas. It tends to be at other times. And so our Christmas probably won't feel that different at all on Christmas Day, except for the fact that all our friends and family back in New Zealand will be just living a normal life, you know, going around to each other's houses, going to gigs and, you know, doing all the normal things that they're still doing now.
It's weird.
So that's probably going to be
I was talking to somebody from New Zealand during the week and they were sitting there on the beach, drinking a cup of coffee, enjoying the sunshine, just everything back to normal. It must be quite bizarre looking at it from over here, where I know in the UK, at least Belgium, it's been a bit more consistent in sort of the situation we've been in, but like just the rules changing every 2 weeks.
Yeah, totally.
And how are you getting? How are Yeasty Boys doing? How are you getting on?
Yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, we were talking about it team today. We've had like a really good year in many respects. It's been obviously really tough business wise, but we've got a really great little team. We've all stuck together. The furlough system here in the UK has really helped in that regard. And we've just had a lot of really good things. And so this year we started Utopian Brew, now brew all our beers under one roof, which is so much easier, and so happy with the quality of the beer. And they're people like us, like we really get on well. And the team's pulled together really nicely as well. So, you know, like there's been a great team spirit, even though for a lot of the time we've all been furloughed or, you know, working part-time. We've all got together at least twice a week on, you know, Google Hangouts and caught up. So Tuesday we have proper kind of like, you know, morning team meeting over a cup of tea or a coffee. And then Friday afternoons we have a couple of beers and have, you know, proper old catch up about all sorts of things. That's been really nice.
Yeah. Have you guys ever put out a Christmas beer?
We actually did one. We kind of did one this year. We've just called it a nourishing ale, but it does say ho 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 on the side. It's called Cuddle. I'm kind of probably like Adrian, you know, not really a Christmas jumper or Christmas beer type person generally, but yeah, that was as close as we got. So we made a dark beer. Originally, we were going to send a lot of it to Norway, and in the end, it all being sold here, because obviously the Christmas beer thing's really huge over there in Scandinavia, but not really here. I mean, I don't walk through shops here and see shelves and shelves of Christmas beers or anything like that.
I feel. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
It's a strong brown ale with cacao nibs, so it's fairly festive, but it's certainly a little more subtle than your general idea. No spices.
Yeah.
Generally, I prefer my spices to come from fermentation rather than additions in most instances.
Yeah. I feel. I mean, I've lived in Belgium for a while now, but I feel like it's. There are more people putting out more Christmas beers in Belgium now than there used to be. Maybe it's just people see that they sell, but I don't know. I don't leave Adrian out. Adrian, are you going to be eating leeks this Christmas? Is that a Welsh thing?
I probably will put some leeks. Yeah, no. Yeah, I like Christmas. Even though it didn't sound like I did on Twitter.
Yeah, we'll get to your hatred of mince pie shortly. It's something that I have to say that I tend to.
What I'm missing, you asked what we miss. I am missing my traditional booze up with the usual layabouts on Christmas Eve lunchtime. Because, I don't know. We're in tier 2 at the moment. We might go into tier 1, in which case I can have table service and I can hang out with some layabouts. But, I hope they're not watching. But, yeah, I mean, I like it. I love it's like the one day of the year you can basically overeat and drink far more than there's good for you.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, isn't that Saturday and Sunday and Friday night? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a special day. But no, I quite like it, I mean, yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I'm with you. I used to be a bit of a Grinch, to be honest. When I was, younger and trying to be cool and, being contrarian was a substitute for a personality. I used to be very anti-Christmas, but I don't know, is it because I have kids now and I get to revel in the role of Christmas dad, which is like massively what I'm into at the moment, making soups, baking bread, wearing Christmas jumpers, eating mince pies, it's great. Get to let yourself go,
Do you get pissed off on a Christmas Eve having to, I don't know how old your kids are now, but I remember when James was young, when he was 4 or 5, Christmas Eve was like, it's taken me 4 hours to put this trampoline together. And then I had to get the turkey and the Arga at 1 o'clock in the morning, so it would be okay. And I left out Trappist ale for Santa, because I said, well, he's got to have some beer as well. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, but I used to go to the pub a lot when I was young. I don't know about everyone else. I mean, Christmas Eve was like a bloody blur. And the whole day, to be honest. I mean, it was like...
Well, yeah, I mean, well, back in Ireland, the town where I was from, as everybody who's from Ireland will know, Irish pubs have to be closed on Christmas Day. So they generally close earlier. So I think Christmas Eve closing time was probably about 10 o'clock. Or at least last call. It would have been quite early so that they could flush the drunks out, get everybody home and be closed by midnight. But of course then Christmas Eve also comes with midnight mass, which is not something I ever indulged in. But most of my friends, we would go down to the pub Christmas Eve. You would order in a rake of pints at last call. Everybody would drink them. You'd be hammered on the way home. And then the ones whose mothers were a little bit more religious would then have to go down to the church and sort of sway gently in the back of the pews, trying to keep focused on what the priest was saying, listening to the choir, not burping too loudly, and then just about convincing their mothers that they were still compos mentis before then going home and, falling asleep on the couch.
Owen, I used to be an altar server, and I had done the go to the pub bit and then serve at midnight mass.
Oof.
That's tricky, I can tell you. That is a tricky thing to pull off. I did only try it once because, as you'll be familiar with, a lot of the seating on the altar, especially for the servers, don't have a back. And if you've been to the pub, you do need a back on the seat.
You do.
So you really do have to keep focused. I have to admit, did it once, didn't do it again.
No, you don't want to be. You don't want to be tripping up, dropping the drop. I mean, I'm not very religious, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But you don't want to be dropping the wafers on the ground or spilling the wine, or any of that stuff. How's everybody's drinks going down? Who's watching? I saw a few people had the Père Noël. Some people started off with the Ansbach in a disruptive way. Who else has got stuff going on? Somebody else Lana, you like to know, is drinking a winter welcome from Samuel Smiths. Alexander. From viewers out there, how is your Christmas looking like? What's like, what are the big changes that you're foreseeing? You know, have you gotten a rake of beer in to drink it at home, or are you hoping to get out and about as things loosen just ever so slightly? I mean, I know in the UK, where most of you guys are based, there are travel things are being loosened for a period over Christmas to allow people to travel, but then being tightened back up after, as I understand.
Great.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, well, we're closed. Belgium is basically closed until January 15th. So,
And then I'll be
I can
over.
either go for a pint or get a haircut until the beginning of the new year, which is partly explains the hat.
The hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I was too busy getting into pubs in the short period that they were open for that I forgot to get a haircut. So,
Oh, well, you're looking lustrous right now. I mean, the hair definitely matches the jumper.
yeah, my hair was honestly, it was the length of Adrian's at the start of the lockdown.
That's the first thing I did on July the 4th was go for a haircut. I went to the pub and then went for a haircut. I'd had 5 pints, and I think the poor bloke got drunk on me just talking. I've been 3 times now. I'm for a haircut next week as well.
Somebody, Jennifer, in the comments asked the question: what makes a beer a Christmas beer? I think, Stu, you alluded to that a little bit. In Belgium, at least, it sort of means spice, but not as much spice as non-Belgian brewers think. I mean, anyone who knows Belgian brewing knows that it's all about moderation and using things sparingly to get the most out of it. It means alcohol. You know, okay, we're starting off with a 7% Christmas beer, but I think most Christmas beers these days are upwards of 9, 10, 11%. So that's really important. And then just whacking a load of Christmas paraphernalia on the front of it, I think, and giving it a Christmassy name. And then I think that's what most Belgian breweries are doing. I mean, Père Noël obviously has Santa Claus on it. Winter Mess doesn't really count because De La Seine beers, but St. Bernardus, I mean, you can see that. It's just a monk with a Christmas hat on it. I mean, they make great dark beers.
Oh, yeah.
I think
He's not the winking monk.
What'd you say, Adrian?
Not the winking monk.
It's not the winking monk. No, I don't know if you guys have ever come across the winking monk, but I haven't.
I have opinion on Christmas beers.
Hit me.
A brewery I work at started a kind of a new tradition 4 years ago. We release a New Year beer every year, and we want to make it a difference. So we want to show that beer is also a festive drink. It can be a festive drink. So we do sparkling, low alcohol beer. Last year it was Grisette, which was aged for 6 months on bread. So it was really bubbly, really effervescent. So, and we call it sparks, you know, like this sticks with sparks,
Sparklers,
which
yeah.
people, sparklers. So we wanted to be this beer, the first drink of New Year instead of champagne.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of new tradition we want to establish. So you can celebrate New Year or Christmas with a beer as well. And it doesn't have to be really strong or spicy or dark, whatever.
Yeah. It has to be. I mean, I think the essence is that it should be a bit indulgent, you know?
Yep, definitely.
It is an indulgent
Something different.
season. Somebody was asking what makes Père Noël a Christmassy beer. But like I was saying at the beginning, I don't have an XX bitter to compare it to, but it's darker. It's got more malt forward characteristics to it. It's got more alcohol in it. It's really just, more of a sipper than a traditional one, and it's something that's only brought out seasonally, so that's important too. So you can only get Père Noël every a few months of the year, and I think that's mostly true of the other Christmas beers too.
Yeah, it works for me as a Christmas beer. I think it's like just a little bit spicy. It's got a really nice bready, tending towards sort of cake-like kind of malt character.
Yeah,
I would definitely be happy with a couple of these on Christmas Day. It's one of those beers too that the first couple of sips, sometimes they're all a little bit kind of shocking for your palate.
Yeah.
But then as you get it, I find Orville something like that as well when I haven't had it for a long time. I'll have a couple of sips and I'll think, oh, I don't like this as much as I used to. And then halfway through the glass, you're just like, I can't wait to finish this and start another.
Yeah, and that's good when it has low ABV. You know, I have to say, I was quite unfortunate that all of the supermarkets had sold out of 33 centiliter bottles of St. Bernardus, so I had to get a 75 centiliter. So we'll see what happens in the after party once the live stream is finished, whether or not I'm still in one piece. But something
Owen, I think you might have been Owen.
Yeah.
I think you might have been in Brussels too long if you're saying this is low ABV. We've started on 7%.
Yeah, we're starting gently, Martin, because we go from 7 to only 8.5. Yeah, I know that's true. But it's sipping. It's about enjoying it. You know, we're not going to be wolfing them down. I did say that I was going to take it slowly, but I am already having finished my bottle of Pernod. I think probably for the next one I might need to slow down. I did in an attempt to recreate a Welsh traditional Christmas. I went all in and I got myself some Terry's chocolate orange, some off-brand After Eights, and some mince pies. Adrian, what don't you like about mince pies?
They're horrible. They are really foul. I don't like spices. I can't stand cinnamon, one of the worst beers. I mean, I love, what's his name's beers in Italy, Tipo Pills, you know. I've forgotten his name. Anyway, but he did a bitter with cinnamon. I bloody hate cinnamon. I don't even put it in a curry. I mean, I think, you know, we're talking about Christmas beers in England. Sometimes it just seems like a 4.3% beer and someone's put a bag of spices in it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Awful.
You know, it's like pumpkin beer. Why bother? I just thought I'd open that.
Well,
yeah, I mean, but I don't like them. I don't like Christmas cake. When I was a kid, I used to insist that my parents got me, I sound like bloody Viola or Victoria Bott from Williams Stories, that they got me mandarins, a tin of mandarins, while everyone else had Christmas pudding. Bloody hated it.
Well,
there you go. 1-0.
My mother used to bake all of the Christmas desserts in September. So she would do the steamed Christmas pudding and she would do the Christmas cake, and then she would put that away in the freezer or in the cupboard. I hate fruitcake. I can't stand it. I'll eat a mince pie now. But what I used to do come Christmas was I would take, so a traditional Christmas cake is probably the same in the UK. Fruitcake, then a layer of marzipan on top of that, and then a layer of royal icing on top of that. Does that sound like a familiar format to you guys, Martin and Adrian? No?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't like icing.
Oh, wait, see, I'm the inverse. I would take a slice of cake, I would peel the icing off the marzipan, eat the icing, and then leave everything else for someone else because I just couldn't stand it. Marzipan, me and almonds have an abiding disagreement.
Isn't that what you put in a pastry stout, marzipan? That's the only time I've ever heard of it being used.
No.
But
we've got Johnny from the Craft Beer Channel coming on later on, and he's after just brewing a Belgian homebrewing a Belgian double mince pie, or mince pie double. So I'll ask him.
I did, on the mince pie subject, I did see mince pie sausages.
How does that
on sale at one of the local supermarkets? A mince pie flavoured filling in sausages.
Oh,
this that strikes me as a sort of classic American misunderstanding of what a mince pie is.
It could well be. I haven't explored it, but they were already on offer when I saw them.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
So that might tell you everything you need to know.
Exactly. Something I wanted to do is a bit of a fun. We were going to play a couple of games. And a classic Belgian or classic Irish and English Anglo-Saxon tradition is Christmas crackers. I have a bunch of Christmas crackers here for anybody who's not familiar with the concept. Inside a Christmas cracker is usually a Christmas a hat, a party hat, and a joke. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play a game. And then I'm going to let you guys go because you've been very good sports. We're going to play a game. I'm going to read out a joke from a Christmas cracker. Don't worry, I've just changed you won't see yourselves, you'll only see me. I'm going to read out a joke from the Christmas cracker. The first correct answer wins, and everybody else has to take a drink. Does that sound good?
Okay.
And then when you guys are done, we have a question for the viewers, and how we'll do that is I will explain that when we get there. Okay? Does that all sound like a bit of a cringy laugh, which is I think the intention?
Yep.
Sounds
ready?
like
So
Christmas
just
to me.
shout your name, give me the answer, and I'll tell you if you're correct or incorrect. We've got 4 questions, so ideally each of you should get a right answer. You might not get any answers. I did test these out on somebody downstairs who's Belgian. She didn't understand what I was talking about, but you guys might. All right, you ready? And you guys who are watching, you can also have a go. You can throw answers, throw suggestions in the comments to help out the people who are watching. So question number 1. What did Santa do when he went speed dating?
Stu,
Stu, yep.
he slayed them.
Good guess. Actually, better answer than the one that I have on the paper. I'm gonna give one more person a guess, and then I'll give you the answer, and you'll all have to take a drink.
Adrian. We went down the chimney.
Adrian, there could be children watching. No, the correct answer was he pulled a cracker.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So you can all take a drink. Now, question number 2, or joke number 2. How does Darth Vader enjoy his Christmas turkey?
Martin.
Yeah.
On the dark side.
Oh, Martin, straight in there. Good man. The other 3 of you, take a drink.
Bloody hell.
All right. Now, I'm not going to cast aspersions on the cultural relevance of some people on the call, but some of you might struggle with this one. How is Drake like an elf?
Too complicated.
Is it something to do with bowls?
No. Okay, I'll give you 5 more seconds.
Mallard.
Drake spends all his time rapping. Drake is a very famous rapper. He was, in fact, the most listened to musician on Spotify in Belgium. So there you go. Here's one maybe the Americans will get. What is the Grinch's least favorite band? You really have to have read The Grinch, or at least seen the Jim Carrey film.
Black Sabbath.
Any Americans in the chat? Give a hand.
What's the most annoying Christmas song?
Okay, I'll take a drink. The Who. Because the Grinch is tormented by the Whovians, or the Who's, the people who live in the village of the Who's. Okay, you were very good sports. For everybody watching, you guys can join in now as well. Yeah, the jokes are terrible, Christopher. That's the point. So, for you guys listening and watching, I always say listening because I'm used to doing this as a podcast. This is your chance to win a copy of my book, which is a great book. It has the best words in it, really. The best words, all of them. Everybody thinks it's great. You should, if you don't win it, you should buy it. All you have to do, listen to the question. First answer in the chat wins, and then we'll exchange details off stream. You know, send me a message, and we'll sort it out. Ideally, you don't live in the States, otherwise this live stream is going to be cripplingly expensive for me. Okay, so just like I said, listen to the joke and give me the answer. First answer wins. If nobody gets it right, best answer wins. What do you get if Santa forgets to wear his underpants? Now, I'm just going to wait. Yeah, it is a very good book, Russell. Thank you. Alex, yes. You see, all of these people are very good literary people. I'm not seeing any answers to the question. I'm going to repeat it one more time. And if you don't get it right, at least send in something good. What do you get if Santa forgets to wear his underpants? And it's not salacious, Adrian, if that's what you're thinking.
Something to do with the sledge.
Rebecca and Lloyd, I'm afraid not. It's much less funny than that. You have to put yourself in the mind of a man who's writing dad jokes for a living and putting them into Christmas crackers. Snowballs is a good idea. Snowballs. I see where people's minds are. Okay, I'll give you 5 more seconds. 10 more seconds because I'm being generous, and we'll see if anybody can get the right answer.
Give us a hint.
Oh, Gareth, my man, Gareth Barrel Age Leeds, Saint Nicholas.
Very
Saint
good.
Nicholas. Now to be fair, that does make more sense if you speak with a Cockney rhyming accent. But Gareth, congratulations. A Brussels Beer City book signed for you will be on its way, presumably to Leeds. At a certain point, send me a DM on Twitter, and we can sort out the details. A burnt arse, no. Blue balls, no. Snowballs, no. It had nothing to do with testicles. Anyway, the last thing that I wanted to do, because we're putting together a playlist for the after party, I asked before we came on stream. I asked my 4 guests to think about what their favorite Christmas song is. I could tell it. I'll add it to the playlist, and we listen to it afterwards. So. From Lana. We'll do Lana, Adrian, Stu, and Martin. You can be the last one. Lana, what's your favorite Christmas song?
I'm really sorry. I hate Christmas songs.
I don't know why I invited you.
Sorry, I like beer. I hate Christmas songs.
Okay. Well, on that illustrious, on that optimistic beginning, we'll just skip lightly over Lana and Adrian. Come on, give me something.
Well, it's got to be the Pogues, isn't it?
Pogues,
I interviewed him a couple of times in the late 80s, and he never got drunk once with me. That must have been me. But yeah, it's got to be that one for me. Even when I hear it, it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't like Christmas songs normally. I mean, Peace is, what was the John Lennon one? War is over, peace is in a bed.
Well, John Lennon was a bit sappy, wasn't he?
That was a bit, yeah.
Not my favourite Beatle.
Happy Christmas. That was one voice.
Yeah.
Stu, what about you?
I chatted to our team about it today, actually, and 2 of them picked 2 different songs by The Darkness. Christmas songs. So, I'm going to go with the first one from Fee, our operations manager, given that she's probably the most committed to her music of all of us. Every Friday night, she still does like a vinyl club, the pandemic. So she picked The Darkness, Christmas Time, Don't Let the Bells End.
Yeah, solid classic from my late teenage years. And Martin, to wrap it up?
Wonderful Christmas Time, Paul McCartney.
Oh, yeah, my actual favourite Beatle. So there you go.
Likewise.
The good Beatle. I mean, no disrespect to John Lennon, but he is the good Beatle. All right. Guys, we're gonna sign off this section, part 1. Please, if you have the time,
can I just show you something very Christmassy that I've done especially for this? You've heard of the 1914 truce in the trenches between the British? Well, I recreated it earlier on.
We can't see that, Adrian. Adrian, move it in. Yeah.
There you go.
You've been playing with your toy soldiers.
British and German World War I soldiers. And it's on top of Jeff Allworth, a later guest of yours, his beer Bible. And I found I had these when I was a kid, Airfix. So I just thought I'd like to create that touching Christmas scene. You can see there's a couple of guys running with something there, and someone has fallen over because he's drunken too much. So there you go.
There you go. Beautiful. On that beautiful homespun note, Adrian, I'm going to let you guys get off stream. If you can, stick around for the rest of the chat. You can hide out in the comments. It's been really fun talking to you guys. I hope you do have a really good Christmas. I know some of us were due to probably have crossed paths at some point over the last few months, but events being as it were, events were cancelled, so we couldn't. But hopefully in the new year, at some point in 2021. Actually, Lana, I only saw you last month. What am I talking about? But the other guys, hopefully in 2021 we'll see you guys soon. But yeah, stick around in the chat. But it's been great talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Happy Christmas.
I'll see you.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's part 1 down. I'm going to quickly update the playlist. I'm going to turn on a tiny bit of music just while I update my glass. Stick around. In part 2, we have guests coming on who I will introduce then, but just give us a couple of minutes, and the next guests are due to come on in 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to put on a little musical interlude, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, I think that's enough of on the first day on the 12 days of Christmas. I didn't think about my placement because now I'm hiding behind. I'm gonna sit over here and talk a little bit louder into the microphone as I introduce the next 4 guests we've coming on. I have 3 of them in the green room already. We're just waiting on Katie to join. If Katie is watching, click the link, Katie, and sign in. The 4 people who are going to be joining us in a few minutes, in 2 minutes, are Katie Mather, writer extraordinaire and co-owner of Corto, the new best place to drink in Clitheroe, I'm told. Claire Bullen, editor-in-chief of Good Beer Hunting. Matt Curtis, writer and co-founder of Pelican Magazine. And Holly Stevens, writer from the UK, but based in the States. Before we get started, I see there was a couple of questions. What beer is up next? I will throw that up now. Hold on 1 second. Beer number 2 is Brasserie de la Seine Winter Mess, if you've got the Etre Gourmet kit or box, and it is the Ansbach and Hop Day Pfeffernuss Stout, if you have the Hop Burns and Black. Unfortunately, I don't have that. I wasn't able to get my hands on one of the Hop Burns and Black kits. So I'd be interested to see how that's tasting. If people in the chat already have it, let us know, and I'm sure 1 or 2 of the guests who are coming on shortly will have a bottle of it too, or have a can of it too. Something for in the chat. Like I said, I have got my Very, very sweet beer and food pairings for this evening. Terry's Chocolate Orange, a classic. After Eight and mince pies. Something we're going to be talking about with the guests who are coming on in a little bit is their go-to Christmas beer and food pairings. So have a think about what you like to drink while you're eating your Christmas dinner or over the Christmas holidays. Throw it in the chat and we can have a chat, see what people are drinking. Okay? Oops. And very soon, I'm just waiting for Katie to come into the chat. We can get started with part 2. Oh, there they are. They're all on stream now. Hello.
Hello.
How's everybody doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you too. Okay, we're just waiting for Katie to come on, but we can get started in her absence. I've already done the brief introductions. If you guys want to big up yourselves while we do the round robin, feel free to do that. I'm about to crack open my bottle of Winter Mess. So maybe I can ask you guys what you're drinking and how you're doing this evening.
Shall I start? Everyone knows how much I like to talk.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So I've spent all day talking. I'm drinking a beer from Mondo Brewing Company and the Queer Brewing Project called Chosen Family.
Uh-huh.
It's an American style brown ale. And it's absolutely delicious. Oh, there's a slight delay on the screen. I'm watching myself.
Oh yeah, I have a
disturbing.
second computer set up next to me, and I'm not looking at it. I just want to make sure that it's live streaming, but it's about 5 seconds behind what we're doing. So just concentrate on the camera. And how are things, Matt?
So yeah. Do you know what? I'm a bit down because we are still in what's called Tier 3 here in Manchester, and I really miss the pub. And seeing my friends in London the last couple of days. Oh, here's Katie.
Yeah, sorry. You were getting real into the feels right there, and then I saw Katie come into the green room with her crocheted Santa beard on, and I couldn't. I was finding it very hard to keep engaged in what you were saying.
Sorry.
But that's not,
I'm sorry for putting in, and I'm sorry for being late.
Don't worry about it.
Of all the people who interrupt Katie, you're the least annoying. If that's worth anything. So what I was saying is I'm really sad the pubs aren't open, but now I've seen all these lovely people in front of me. I'm feeling much better, and my first beer of the evening. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Holly, maybe you can come in next. Seeing as how we've never actually met.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
There was a bit of a delay, so yeah, I'm trying to tune my ears to this. Is everybody else hearing that music too?
The music.
Are we meant to be hearing the music in the background?
Yeah, the music is in the background. Yeah, it's
Okay,
just
good.
Christmas
Just wanted to
music.
make sure I didn't have
Just
two
go with
tabs
it.
open
I'll turn it down. I'll turn it down a bit. But welcome.
Well,
how are you doing? And what are you
Thank
drinking?
you for having me. Yeah, well, I don't have the same beers as you guys. I've got Anchor Brewing Company Special Ale. So yeah, it's a nice Christmas beer. This is 7%, so this is about the weakest Christmas beer I could find. It's a bit earlier in the day here, but yeah, it's very nice, and it's got a slight sort of peppermint aftertaste as well. So yeah, it's a good one.
Cool. Claire, you're looking very sparkly this evening.
Yeah, this is basically the only Christmas party I'm going to, so I figured I might as well go for it.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's good. It's good already. I am on that Pfeffernuss.
Tell me, how is it?
It's good. The spicing feels relatively subtle. Nice, rich, chocolatey, stout base. I get almost a little bit of a cranberry red fruit tartness from it, which is quite nice. So it's pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, I was a bit too stingy to fork out the shipping costs that it would have cost me to get some over. So instead, I just have to make do with the Brasserie de la Seine. I know it's a hard life. Father Christmas, how are you doing this evening?
I was going to start off with a big ho 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 and stuff. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I'm all good, thanks. I'm sorry I was late. We were getting carried away ordering beer for the bar, so
But I'm here now.
That's a good excuse. Well, how are things going? Am I right in saying that you got the keys today?
Yes, we got the keys today, so very excited. Yay! So yeah, all going now.
And what are you drinking?
I have got the Dirac Père Noël to match me.
So just down that real quick, just like horse it into you.
Okay, well I have to take the beard off because I can't actually. It's like it's like really
Yeah, you don't want to get the beard. Is that a beard of your own construction?
I wish I could say it was, but the thing is, like when you make, when you do a little bit of any kind of craft, or you have any kind of hobby, you know, like beer, for example, that is what you get for Christmas.
Yeah.
You just get anything to do with that specific thing that you're interested in. So, crochet beards it's a new one on me, but it's quite cool actually, and it's Velcro, so you can attach it, to any hat. Useful.
Doesn't have to be. You could just wear that in the summertime as a nice,
there you go.
I'm drinking the Winter Mess. I see a couple of people already cracked theirs open. One of Brasserie de la Seine's older beers, and one of its more, again, Brasserie de la Seine are sort of scions of the Ranka, so there's a certain consistency between drinking the two of them together. Again, a more malt-forward beer than I think Brasserie de la Seine is probably well known for, but it's lovely and warming. It, as a beer, it started off as around 6%, but gradually over the years, it's increased, it's 8.5% now. And it's got the stereotypical Picasso-inspired, weird Nouveau Art Deco artwork on the front, which I love. It's tasting great. So every year they bring it out again. I have another bottle in the basement, which I was going to do a side-by-side pairing, but I thought life's too short. I might as well just drink this one. Everybody else in the chat, what are you guys drinking? Somebody's on a Gowden Carolus. Actually, that now, I know it's not. If anybody's ever had Gowden Carolus from Hidanker in Mexico, I know it's not everybody's favorite because it's just like liquid licorice. And ordinarily I don't like licorice, but it is actually one of the best Christmas beers out there. It is like, if anybody were to ask me what a prototypical Belgian Christmas beer is like, it's Gowden Carolus Christmas. The first two beers that we've had this evening are sort of atypical, and the last one we have is like just the best. But Gowden Carolus is lovely. I don't know if you guys have ever had it.
Yes, delicious, absolutely delicious. My favourite Belgian Christmas beer is De Dollar Stillenacht. Like they're my favourite Belgian brewery. I need to get some. I haven't got any. But that's my absolute favourite Belgian Christmas beer.
It's a belter.
That one.
I don't have any, so thanks, guys.
Oh, sorry, Matt. I just went to the shop yesterday and bought 6 of them. Sorry.
It's all right. It's Christmas, isn't it? I've got a mince pie.
So do I. I have. Like I was saying on the last stream, I was. So this is how Brussels works. So we have a large expat community, as you guys are probably familiar with, and a large English community for the moment. And the best place in the city to get English food, Marks and Spencer's were open for a couple of years and then they closed down. The best place to get English food is Waterstones. So you can go into Waterstones and you can get lemon curd, and you can get twiglets, and you can get shortbread to bait the band, the amount of shortbread they have. So that's where I got all of my treats, and I'm trying to see what fits best with the beers that we're drinking, which is a seamless segue into one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, and we can get on to like how you guys are doing Christmas wise and everything. What do you like to drink for Christmas? Like, what's your go-to sort of Christmas beer that you will just chug away on Christmas Day? Holly, do you have anything over there in the US?
Well, I'm trying to get through all of the US brewery Christmas ales because there's a lot here that I haven't tried before. Back in the UK, there was a cask beer I liked called Rosy Nosy, and it had this label on the Santa nose flashes, like Rudolph's red nose. I don't know who that was by, but that was always a good one.
Bateman's brewery in Lincolnshire.
Bateman's, yeah. But I like that one. Trying to find something like that, but they are all a bit stronger here as standard. So 7% about maybe more in the Belgian direction. 7% about the lowest ABV. So planning to try plenty of my local breweries' Christmas beers this year. But as far as preparing for Christmas dinner, I'm just going to be making a paella instead of turkey. Don't really like turkey, not worth doing a roast for 2 people. So probably a nice bottle of red wine with that, something Spanish.
What is Christmas like? You're in, if I remember correctly, are you in New Mexico or in Arizona?
New Mexico, yeah.
What's it like spending Christmas in what I imagine in my mind is a desert?
Yeah, so right now it's very cold, but it is bright and sunny most days. So, very high elevation, of course, very dry, very little rain this time of year. So the days are very crisp and cold, but you can get warm if you have to walk in the sun. We might get some snow. We had some snow last year, the year before. But yeah, it's going to be pretty quiet. I was back in the UK for last Christmas and had a nice walk to the pub on Christmas Day. And we can't do any of those things this year, unfortunately. So yeah. It's going to be pretty quiet. But, just got to make the best of it and use it as an excuse to drink plenty of new things.
Well, as if that excuse is ever needed, but
Yeah.
What about you guys? What about the others? Anyone want to chime in? What do you guys like to go to on Christmas Day?
So I always like to start the day with a bottle of sour beer, maybe a Gers, or more traditionally a Burning Sky. Excuse me, I'm choking on a bit of mince pie. So last year I opened a magnum of Burning Sky assemblage, which was like a blend of their 4 barrels of their house saison provision. So we kicked off the day with a magnum. But I've cooked Christmas dinner the last few years, and I always like to do a rib of beef because I don't really like turkey either. And it's often been just me and my partner Diane. So a rib of beef is something we can eat on Christmas Day, and then it will last for a few days after that, making some other delicious things. And with that, it would be red wine. I drink a lot of wine on Christmas Day. The other thing I drink a lot of on Christmas Day is lager, and that is no different to any other day. But I've got a second beer by the window where it's a bit colder. I've got some lager.
That beer's so good.
But
is that your emergency lager?
Gotta have one. Like, it's so important. But Christmas Day, you have so much rich, intense food, and to just like sit down and have a nice bottle of Augustine or something like that, and just like cleanse, quick shot of Fernet Branca, revive, and you're back in the game.
I have to admit myself not a massive turkey fan either. But also I remember my most vivid, because it was my first Belgian Christmas memory. I came over here in 2007. Me and my girlfriend, then wife now, we're going out for a year. And I came over to meet her family and to do Christmas. And I was told I was getting turkey. So I was like, roast turkey, roast potatoes, all the trimmings, all the rest of it. Got all my hopes up, arrived at her mother's house Christmas Eve, which is the big night here. And they had done some sort of turkey casserole. And anyone who knows me well or who has known me for a long time will know that I struggle to hide disappointment when confronted with food-related issues. And this is something that we'll get onto in a little bit. I generally have trouble hiding my disappointment or displeasure.
Did you flip the table?
Yeah, I was just like, what? No, I didn't. But the fact that I still remember it to this day and do occasionally bring it up as a sore point in our family relations meant that it really it hit home to me. It's like, what is this? You said turkey. This is not turkey. I was expecting roast. What is this? And of course, her mother meant well in the best sense possible. But, as they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
I'm taking casserole.
I thought we weren't talking about Chris Rea.
Is that a Chris Rea song?
Road to Hell? Come on.
I only know one Chris Rea song, and it's the one that comes out. Before I get to Claire and Katie and your Christmas pairings, I just want to dive into the comments a little bit. Somebody says the pfefferness is a bit too potpourri for them. Interesting. Yeah, Martin, the idea is that you drink a beer per session. I mean, we're only talking 7 to 12% beers. I think you can manage 4 of those in one evening. Who else? What? Belgians don't like Marmite, and you definitely can't buy it in the shops here. Somebody's drinking a Harvey's Imperial Stout for Christmas with the pudding. Knowing Harvey's, I think that's probably a good idea. Gagging for mince pie. Yeah, there's only one shop in Brussels that you can get mince pies. They are microwavable mince pies, so they're not exactly like Mr. Kipling's, but they're pretty good if you like mince pies. I actually just like to eat the pastry. I don't actually like to eat the mince meat on the inside.
What's a microwavable mince pie?
You take it. I'll show. So I have a little mince pie here, teeny tiny thing. You could inhale that if you weren't careful. You just take off the foil underneath. You throw it in the mince pie, and you turn it on. You throw it in the microwave, and you turn it on for 20 seconds, and you get a hot mince pie, soggy mince pie. But Claire, what's your? I mean, as a woman who wrote a beer and food pairing book, highly recommended. What do you go to on Christmas?
So I gotta say, we start the day with waffles, bacon, and Bloody Marys, which is maybe not traditional, but it's become family lore. After that, we tend to open a magnum of the Anchor Christmas Ale. I think Holly's drinking that now. My uncle gives us a magnum every year, so we just get through that. After that, it's kind of freestyle. With dinner, we'll probably have Pinot or some kind of light red wine with the turkey. And then for dessert, you need to have a stout or a barley wine with your blue cheese. So that's the classic. And then we tend to finish with a little bit of Pedro Jimenez, a really sweet, sticky, raisiny sherry. So it's kind of mixing and matching. But yeah, we have a beverage program throughout the day, basically from dawn till dusk.
Does that get pinned up in the kitchen wall at the beginning of the day saying, these drinks will be available at this time. Come into the kitchen when you want your Pedro Jimenez, or come in when you want your nice glass of Pinot.
Yeah, ring a little bell between courses. Yeah, exactly.
And what about you, Katie?
I mean, there's no strict regulations about what we drink on Christmas Day. It depends on where we go. A couple of years ago, I was making dinner, so that meant that I didn't have to go anywhere. So I started the day with, I'd like to say champagne. It was probably just fizzy wine. Bucks Fizz, Tom says. I don't think I put much orange juice in there. And then we tend to hoard like what we think are special beers over the course of the year, and we say, oh, we'll have that at Christmas. And then you open the cupboard on Christmas Day, and there's just so much beer in there that you haven't drunk all year, and you think, how am I going to get through this? We tend to have a good go at it. Like, there's not a lot at the end of it.
Stiff upper lip and all that, just get through it.
Yeah, just, power through. I think one of my favorite things about Christmas is getting to open like some of the special like barrel aged beers that we've got put away that I wasn't allowed to touch all year. So you kind of like see them peeking behind the other beers, and you're like, oh, one day I'll get to drink you. That's a pretty good thing about Christmas. And another thing that's pretty particular to Christmas is that when I was making Christmas dinner one year, I was told repeatedly by Tom's dad that he didn't like white wine. But I really wanted to pair the starter that I'd made with a white wine. So I bought a Picpoul de Pinet, and he decided that he loved it. So that's now like a Christmas thing that I'll bring white wine that I think that he'll like. And I don't think I've missed it, actually. Last year we had a Riesling from Rudolf and Rita Trossen, the Schiffespen, which obviously everyone loved. And it was nice to have that on Christmas. So yeah, that's what we do.
That sounds, I mean, I was going to say, like, the standard Christmas here is, on a normal year, we'd go in with about 20 or 30 people to my wife's family, and they would do a sort of a buffet style. Belgians aren't really, especially on Christmas Day. I mean, Christmas Eve here is the big evening here. That's when most of the presents get done, traditionally speaking. And when we go there, it's, your choice of beers is Duvel, Schoof, or Omer. That's usually how it goes. And back in the day, you'd be like, how many of those have you got? And are you getting in the car? Is that right? Okay, fair enough.
Oh God.
But it's pretty boozy. But it's very rarely. I remember I brought a bottle of trying to be all fancy, son-in-law beer sommelier. I'm gonna bring something nice to Christmas dinner one year, which is usually actually the main course is usually spaghetti bolognese with carrots. I brought a bottle of barrel-aged Duvel, thinking, okay, look, I'm gonna bring something nice that's still in their wheelhouse, but is a little bit like it cost me money, so you know. They have to like it. And they were like, oh, what's this? Oh, this is not what we like. Put that over there. You can drink that.
Oh God.
So there I was, curdling in the corner with my Duvel, just going, yeah, I'm going to drink this, and it tastes fine. Yeah. But I have to say, the winter... Yeah, go on.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I like Claire's idea of calling it a beverage program. That just sounds like a really sophisticated way of saying I'm just going to drink all the things all day. So I'm definitely going to start referring to it as a beverage program.
Yeah.
To make myself feel better about drinking beers at 9 a.m.
I have to say, this winter mess is tasting delicious as usual. I'm going to try and drink it slow, but I don't know how you guys, how your beers are going down. And in the chat, enjoying the winter mess or the Pfeffernuss Stout? Yeah, famous Belgian frankness, that's right. Belgian people will tell you what they think. Not in the same way that Dutch people tell you what they think. But they will be quite like, I don't like that, or I do like that. So Gareth, you're absolutely right. Belgian people, they don't mess around with their opinions. I would love to install a beverage program at home. But my children, so we have the tradition, we were talking about that in the last segment. So we have Sinterklaas here, Saint Nicolas, who comes to visit on the 6th of December. And he brings presents and he brings chocolate and Pfeffernuss or Pepernoten as they are here. And, you know, just like when Santa Claus comes to visit, we put out carrots and we put out a cake and we put out a drink. And traditionally, I have always told the children that the drink is beer. This year, in getting ready for Christmas, I was told that Santa drank too much beer.
Aww.
And that he wouldn't fit. Yes, Kevin McAllister reaction is absolutely appropriate, Matt.
That's what I'm going for.
And that instead of a beer, they should give him a Cola Zero or something else. And I was like, well,
oh God.
In this year of all years, I think Santa Claus and Sinterklaas both deserve a nice beer. You know? So I'll have to remind them of that again when he comes this weekend. You know, put out something nice.
Yeah.
Coke Zero for Santa.
I know.
That's 2020. That's the most 2020 thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You could put a in it though.
Yeah.
No one would know.
But how is Christmas looking for you guys this year? Staying put. I mean, Matt, as you were saying, staying put, presumably where you are.
I have a small family, very small family, for better or worse, and I will spend some time with my sister and her partner, and I will hopefully see my mum in Lincolnshire, and just enjoy a little bit of dinner. I don't think I'm cooking for the first time in a few years, so a quiet Christmas, but like within the legal boundaries, well, basically, it's a free-for-all, though. It's like Battle Royale between the 23rd and the 27th. We're in strict lockdown now, but from the 23rd, anything's game. And, of course, everyone's going to be really sensible. But I will manage to eke out. I mean, I always have a relatively small Christmas. If it was a normal year, I might have gone to New Zealand with my partner family and had Christmas in New Zealand. But that'll probably be next year when we're all vaccinated to the eyeballs. So fingers crossed for that. So, and hopefully I'll eat some roast beef.
Did you go straight up roast beef, or would you go for a beef Wellington?
I like a rib roast, classic, medium rare, because it's quite quick and it gives you a lot of time to spend on some really great sides, like doing a ridiculous cauliflower cheese, something like that. Some really ridiculous roast potatoes. Yorkshire puddings that you could have, Yorkshire puddings that rise like the mountains of Colorado. That's where I'm going with this.
You lost me at cauliflower cheese, I'm afraid.
That's one of the greatest things.
No.
One of the
Classic
greatest
Owen.
things.
No.
You don't like any food.
You really don't.
It's best if you add tuna and mayonnaise to it.
Oh, Owen likes it even less now.
I invited you on
Yeah.
this. I invited you. We have a history of tuna and mayonnaise on this podcast. On the podcast, I invited you on the proviso that we would not talk about seafood. Cauliflower. Cauliflower and broccoli bring back just the worst kind of childhood memories of white sauce and broccoli in the shepherd's pie. Anyway, sorry, this is not a psychoanalysis session for me. What about you other guys? Muddling through.
So this is the first Christmas I've not gone back to the US. My parents live just outside Philadelphia, so I always tend to go back and spend it with them. This year, though, they have actually come to the UK. They've been quarantining for the last 2 weeks in an Airbnb in Guildford, and I think they've broken out of jail today. So they're going to be staying with us. We're isolating until then, so we won't risk infecting them. And I guess once they're here, we'll probably just like drink and eat every day. I don't even know what other entertainment is planned. We can't go anywhere really, nowhere inside. So it's just going to be wall to wall raiding the beer fridge, I think.
I mean, Matt, you'll be pleased to know that on BBC One on Christmas Day, Moana is being broadcast. So.
Oh, I've got it on DVD.
You have it on DVD?
No,
well,
I don't buy DVD. I stream things on the internet now.
Yeah, we succumbed to a subscription to Disney Plus.
We have the Disney Plus. Moana is like a movie I was forced to watch, and then I left feeling this great feeling of self-worth and happiness. It's a great film. Lin-Manuel Miranda did the soundtrack.
Yeah.
There you go.
Holly, is this going to be your first US based Christmas holiday period?
No, I was here the Christmas before last. That was my first Christmas in the US. But can meet up with a few more people then. I have found it quite hard to buy mince pies here, which has been disappointing. You can make them, you can buy the mincemeat and the pastry, but to buy a ready-made mince pie can't be done as far as I've seen, or maybe I'm not looking in the right places. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Back down some of that and make them myself.
Yeah, well, there's also a value in making them yourself, even if they're lumpy and malformed as they usually are in our household. What about you, Katie?
That's part of the joy, though.
Katie, you have quite a chunky glass in front of you.
Oh yeah, well, and I was late, and I thought, well, to go with like the Santa Claus feel, I went for like a rustic mug tankard kind of deal. So here we go. I'm putting everything in it. I'm going to drink everything out of it. I've been making like massive cups of tea in this as well. It's pretty good, actually.
And how is Christmas looking like in Clitheroe?
We don't know what we're going to do, really. We were invited. It was Tom's mum's year to host us. Like, we kind of take it in turns. But obviously, we don't know what's happening and who's going to do what. So we're just going to wait and see, really. But I think we don't also mind hosting them, because now we've got the bar. It's like a bigger space. It might be quite fun to like do it in there. Not that there's anywhere to cook anything in there, so we'd have to like take it all down in tinfoil in the car, just like. But it might be quite fun to do that. I don't know. But if we're over with mums, it's nice over there because it's like proper traditional like mum Christmas, where like the Christmas tree is like really tinselly, and the Christmas dinner's like a proper Christmas dinner, and you watch all of like the Christmas Day quiz shows and stuff. So you eat loads and loads of quality food.
Yeah. A question is coming in from Rebecca. What's the name of the bar for people who don't know and don't follow you on social media?
It's called Corto. Corto.
I'll just type that in. And also, apart from the people who are from Philly getting to know each other in the chat, I presume you all eat Philly cheesesteaks and love that weird orange person.
Gritty. His name is
Gritty.
Gritty. Put some respect on his name.
Everyone loves him.
The most controversial thing that we've that's been in the chat this evening, Pete Brown, mayonnaise can get in the bin.
Correct, Pete Brown. Correct. Mayonnaise is trash. It's trash.
No.
I can't. I'm a late convert to mayonnaise. I only ate eggs for the first time aged 18. But I have to say that I do love mayonnaise on fries. I had my first egg in Hersonisos, which is a beach resort in Crete, on my post school leaving holiday. It was a Friday.
What is your life, Owen?
I don't know how I don't know how this is exceptional. I mean, eggs were not like au courant.
No, it's not. It's not that it's exceptional, Doctor. I guess it's just weird. Like, I remember my first egg. It was an holiday in Crete. I don't know, that really has tickled me.
You never had like dingy egg as a child?
My dad made egg and soldiers, but we didn't eat it.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Eggs were weird. My children have the same approach, so I think it's totally a normal developmental stage of growing up. Anyway, we're not here to talk about why I like eggs or do not. Something that we've been doing. We did it in the first live stream in the first section. We're going to do it in the second one now. Play a couple of games. For you guys, it amounts to nothing more than a drinking game, but for people who are watching from home, you can, in this round, you can win this limited edition Brasserie de la Seine calendar.
Ooh. That's a prize and a half,
isn't it? And it was graciously donated by the brewery in exchange for me doing some work for them.
Wonderful.
But there was an exhibition of Jean. Jean, for anyone who's watching and doesn't know, he's the in-house designer, one of the best in the business. They did an exhibition celebrating his work at the brewery this year, and they produced a calendar. As a result, you can actually buy prints of some of these labels at the brewery. I don't know how many are left, but we'll get on to how you can win that, and then I will work out how to send an A1-sized cardboard calendar in the post. But as you can see, the name of the game is Guess That Carol. And we're not talking about famous carols from history. We are talking about Christmas carols. So I am going to hum a Christmas carol. I have 4 Christmas carols on my list. The rules are simple. I will pull up the rules. If you watched it already, you will know. The rules are simple. Shout out your name if you know the answer. First correct answer wins. Everybody else takes a drink. Does that make sense? Now,
yes.
I haven't practiced. So I was inspired by the classic BBC game show, Never Mind the Buzzcocks. So I will do my best. All right. So you got 4 chances. So each of you have a chance to win, save your honor, and not have to drink, not have to take a slug. Okay. Carol number 1, and anybody in the chat, feel free to help them out.
Oh, Claire. The little drummer boy.
Little drummer boy. My favorite version of that song is, of course, the David Bowie
version, right?
Yeah, the Bowie version. Yeah.
Bing Crosby.
Actually, Bing Crosby. Actually, it's the Will Ferrell version of the Bing Crosby version, which is you should look that up on YouTube. Okay, everybody else drink.
I did.
You did.
We promised.
Okay,
We'll
number 2.
Katie.
Holly.
Oh, Matthew.
Okay, I think Katie was in there first.
I think Katie was first, yeah.
Oh, come, all ye faithful.
Quite right.
Yay!
Everybody else drink. I'm revealing my history as a graduate of Protestant school in Ireland, where we would sing Christmas carols every year, and I thought everybody did that. And then I met my Catholic friends, and it turns out none of them sang at church ever.
Yay!
The next 2, I think, if you don't get them,
Matthew.
Yes.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yes, of course it is. Well done. Holly, now you've got one chance left.
All right. No pressure.
No pressure.
Matthew.
Oh yeah, Partridge in a Pear Tree.
I'm gonna give it to Holly. She said it first, Matt. You did give your name, but
I'm gonna go and get another beer because I'm gonna drink the last sip of mine.
Okay. Well, while Matt's doing that, we'll open it up to the comments. The rules remain the same as they did in the last round. So let me just throw them up again. Listen to the question or listen to my beautiful rendition of said hymn. First correct answer in the chat wins, and we will sort out the details offline. Okay, so everybody who's in the chat can get ready. Let me just... Somebody has to get in.
Oh my god, it's still going.
Somebody please answer. Yes, Emma, thank you for putting me out of my misery. That was, of course, the classic Silent Night. And by total coincidence, which is also the name of our next beer. Yes, Rebecca, unfortunately, Lydia, you're all too late. So, Emma, send me a DM on Twitter, and we'll work out how to get that over to you. I think you're in the UK, which saves me some postage. I was afraid the Philly Massive were going to win a prize, and I was going to have to send something very, very expensive across the ocean. Okay, you guys have been really great sports. Is there anything you want to get off your chests before we wrap up part 2?
Aren't we suggesting our favorite Christmas songs?
Yes, that's next, Claire.
Okay.
Sorry. I felt that was my old school teacher vibe came out there. Just patience.
I am getting unruly. It's fair.
Okay, Claire, as you initiated it. Now, in the last round, we had one person who declaimed Christmas songs and said she didn't have a favorite. So I'm hoping that we get 4 out of 4 in this round. So, Claire, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, there are so many. Can I suggest several?
Yeah.
Okay, so George Michael, Last Christmas, obviously.
Yeah. As I saw somebody tweet, that was the one time in history when George Michael and Princess Diana shared the same haircut.
Oh God. Another one. Okay, I've got 2 more niche ones.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be obnoxious.
Are we talking about like Sufjan Stevens?
Like kind of that vibe, but not actually Sufjan. So the first, there's this band called The Bird and the Bee, and they do a cover of Carol of the Bells that's so beautiful and weird. So you should listen to that.
Okay.
And then one of my most favorite musicians is Andrew Bird, and he just put out a Christmas album called Hark. And the first song on that is called Andalusia, and it's a cover of a John Cale song, and it is so goddamn beautiful. So yeah, that's another one to add.
I'll take that. Do you live in East London, Claire?
I'm in Islington, so I'm sort of on the edge of north and east. Like Shoreditch is 10 minutes that way, but yeah, kind of.
Who wants to go next? Matthew.
I can go. I'm going to pick 2 as well. Seeing as Claire has done 3, I'll do 2. So I am obsessed with. It's not my favorite Christmas song. I'm obsessed with Paul McCartney and Wings simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking bonkers. Like,
so crazy.
What were they on? Like the synthesizer. What is that sound? Why is it out of time with the entire song? It gets played every year, and I'm like, this song is not right, but that's why it's so good. Paul McCartney's my favorite Beatle, by the way, to the chat. Wings were the band the Beatles could have been.
Matthew, Matt, we literally, that was literally what I said at the end of the last chat.
Well,
Paul McCartney is the best.
We might not agree on seafood, but we do agree.
George Harrison. George Harrison is right there.
Yeah. So okay, so simply having, that's 2 votes for Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time, or whatever the actual title of that song is.
But that's the weird one. But my actual favorite Christmas song is "Christmas Wrapping" by the Waitresses. It's a banger.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And is that rapping with a W or with an or?
It's with a W. It's like a pun. It's a play on words.
Yeah.
Because they.
I'm down.
Song.
I know what puns are. I'm down. It's okay.
Yeah.
Holly, what about you?
Wait,
I
forgot one.
Little Saint Nick by the Kinks.
Little Saint Nick. I love the Kinks.
Oh, sorry, no, the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys.
I also love the Beach Boys. So there we go.
Yeah.
And that's actually quite appropriate given that you're in a sunny location. Somebody put their hand up. Claire, you put your hand up.
I forgot one. Can I add one?
You can try.
A 4?
Okay.
Yeah, but Katie, to be honest,
sorry.
the more ultra ones, they're not getting on my list. So.
Okay, what's the one that Julian Casablancas does? I wish it was Christmas today. That's a goddamn banger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Katie, please save me from this too hip for words playlist. Give me something classic. Give me Wizard. Give me Noddy Holder. Come on.
I do love both of those, but I was going to go really 6 music on you. Sorry. And
I don't know what that is.
I love Must Be Santa by Bob Dylan. I just think it's like really fun. And also like, what the hell? It's like what Matt was just saying about his choice. Like it's insane. Why does it exist? But I'm happy that it does. But every time it comes on every year, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how incredibly bonkers this song is. It's amazing. And then the other one is, it's kind of a Christmas song, isn't it? But it's a little bit sad. River by Joni Mitchell. It's like really pretty and lovely and frosty and it's so nice. But I know that they're not like your jazzy, multicolored, fairy light tinsel kind of ones. So let's put Wizard in there as well because I do love that one.
Yeah, and there's no, there's a lot of shade. There's a lot of shade being thrown in the chat here. Also, I think we might need to cancel Jeff's participation in the podcast in the live stream later on. Jeff Allred says, and I can't believe someone would write this on literally in words on their computer. Wings are worse than mail. There we have it. Yeah, I know. Takes all sorts, doesn't it? The ones you least expect.
Jet is like one of the great pop songs. Jesus.
Before we wrap up, Emma asks if there are any Irish Christmas songs. Now, I have to admit, the only Irish Christmas song that I'm really familiar with is the obvious one by Shane MacGowan and the Pogues and Kirsty MacColl. But there are presumably folksy ones out there, but Irish folk music is not something. She says Daniel O'Donnell. No, Dana, probably Twink. Nobody who's outside of Ireland should ever know who Twink is. But we're running out of time. I see that Johnny and Stephen are already lined up for the next chat when I was going to have my wee break, so we might skip that. Guys, do stick around if you can. And as I'll throw up the link for the Google Meet after party at 11 if we get there, and we can all join in then, and everybody can turn on their cameras. We can have a bit of a drink. Okay, Matt, Holly, Claire, Katie, there's been lots of fun. I know we could probably talk for hours about mayonnaise and about Paul McCartney, and we can later on. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Okay.
Bye.
Cheers.
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, I was going to take a musical interlude right then, but what I'll do instead is I will throw up the link in the chat to the Google Hangout that anybody who is available and wants to, as of 11 o'clock, we can shift over there, and instead of you having to look and listen to me exclusively, we can throw on some music and we can have a few more drinks, and maybe I'll finish the 75 centiliter bottle of St. Bernardus. Where are we now? I am down to the end of my winter mess. Beautifully drinkable, dangerously drinkable as ever. I feel like I'm a bit of a I feel like I'm channeling Clint Eastwood and Robin Williams as a radio DJ. right now with my mic over here. But we might as well just scoot straight through into the next section, seeing as I have two guys on the line. That says part 1, but part 3. So let's throw up the next beer coming up is Still a Nocht. The Dull is Still a Nocht, so everybody should have that if they've ordered a box, either box. If you don't have that, leave a comment in the chat and tell us what you're drinking instead. You poor people. We have coming up in part 3. I have to lean over here again. Johnny Garrett of the Craft Beer Channel. We've name dropped him already, so we're going to be talking to him about his mince pie double. Controversy around mince pies. I don't know if he's seen that yet. He can answer for his sins. Pete Brown, who has been active in the chat but hasn't dialed in yet. Dial in, Pete. Brendan Carney, who is down the road from me in Kortrijk. And Stephen Beaumont, writer of the World Beer Atlas and many other good books based in Canada, our second transatlantic person. So I'm going to throw these guys in. I'm going to forego toilet break. If I start to look uncomfortable as we get through to the end of this, I might make a run for it, but I should be fine. Okay, let's see where we are. Brendan, you're on. Johnny, you're in. Stephen, you are in. We're just waiting for Mr. Brown, but we can already get started in his absence. For those who are drinking along with their boxes, the next beer up is the Dull Stille Nacht. I was slightly too exuberant, and I got 2 bottles. A 2020 and a 2017, because I just wanted to see the difference in how they were tasting, because it's a beer that changes with the years. But why don't we start off by just checking in with everybody and seeing how you guys are doing and what you are drinking right now. Johnny, why don't we start with you?
Hey, thanks for having me, Owen. I'm torn actually. I haven't cracked which beer I'm having. This is actually the mince pie double.
Okay. I was going to say, because it didn't look very. The London Porter is not. But so you have that, yeah. Have you tried it yet?
I have had a bottle of it about 3 days ago, and it was slightly undercarb. I mean, these beers, they actually need is it 6 months? I think Westfield bottle condition their beers. So it's
London Porter is not. Yeah, hold on, Pete. So you had that, yeah. Pete, we're getting echo from you, Pete.
I've just turned off the YouTube browser. That should sort it.
You're right. Johnny, as you were.
So Westmalle aged theirs for about 6 months, and I've done it for, just over 6 days in bottle. So it's getting there. So actually, I'll probably start with Don't Let the Bells End, which is Signature in the Darkness' Collab Christmas beer.
We've already had a reference to the darkness already, so...
I was there for that one.
Seasonally appropriate.
And it's a new trendy style, which is just a classic bitter. Well, no, it's an ESB. Sorry, not as trendy.
And all well.
Let's see how it.
Stephen, what are you drinking?
Well, we're shit for holiday beers over here in Ontario. I don't know why that is. Usually we do get some. But
I mean, it's a very cold country, so I would have thought,
Well, normally, we will have a bunch of the Belgians. We'll get some local brewers coming up with them. I've been hunting and hunting. I was able to find this one. The brewery actually sent me some over. It's come over for the holidays. They call it a Belgian-style Christmas ale by a local brewery called Sawdust City. Well, local. They're about 3 hours north of here. And it's a collaboration with a brewery that's about 30 minutes to the east of here. So it doesn't have any spices or weird stuff. A lot of breweries over here, they think if they're doing Belgian style, they just need to dump a bunch of spice in there.
Yep.
This is my first time tasting it. It seems quite nice, actually. 10% alcohol. It drinks like it's about 6.
Well, that is Belgian, isn't it? I mean, dangerously drinkable, loads of alcohol hidden away somewhere. I mean, I just cracked open my bottle of. It's not the wrong. I'm not using the appropriate glassware. I have these new Duvel glasses. But it just smells of danger, is what it smells like. It's still an ox.
Those are cute, Duvel glass. I like that.
Well, it comes with their barrel aged. They just launched a rum barrel aged version. Brendan, your as ever, your post-it notes are trending in the chat. People feel. And you took some of them down, did you?
I took some down. What are people saying, Owen?
Hold on, I'll throw it up. Alex says, what's with all the post-it notes? Brendan, good friend of mine from university, says, Brendan's post-it notes make me feel like a failure. That's not an unfamiliar feeling, Pa. We've all been through that. The organization, Colleen works at Cantillon here, Philly alumni. The organization of those post-its, are they motivational quotes?
Some of them actually are, yeah.
But let's not get on. We can get onto that in a bit. Your office is a wonder, and are you using a fisheye camera?
Well, I have several lenses for my webcam, and so tonight I thought I'd go for fisheye. No, it's actually a wide-angle lens.
I made a run for. I had to go to Cool Blue, which for anybody who doesn't know is sort of like the Belgian equivalent of Curry's, to buy a webcam today. But Brendan, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm following kind of the more classic route here. So I just finished my Simpernatus Christmas Ale, and I'm on the still an Ochna, I think, as you had advised.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I make it that far, I'll try the Bush Noel.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean they're exactly as you'd expect from Belgian Christmas beers. A lot of alcohol, a lot of malt character, and spiced, but certainly not over the top. There's actually most of them are more subtle than I was expecting. So I'm enjoying them.
And Pete, last in.
I'm keeping it old school. I haven't been out to get any Christmas beers yet, and there's a shop around the corner that sells Belgian beers, but I drink them all as soon as I get them. So I'm very much old school with just what's in my cellar. I'm currently on Explore Stag.
Other way. Yeah, there we go.
Explore Stag, 5.2% classic, naturally strong bitter. It's a little bit ESB-like, nice and warming. If I had a fire, it'd be by the fireside. And then I've got this one lined up for later, which I picked up on a trip to Norfolk. And it's Green Jack, who make very nice strong beers. So I'm getting to the strong beer vibe with you. 10.2% stout from Lowestoft. So that's what we're finishing on.
Lowestoft. Just evokes so many romantic beer memories.
Wonderful memories.
How are you getting on, Pete? All well?
I'm all right, yeah. Just accidentally writing my third book of lockdown, but we're fine.
Whoa. There's a moment at the end of the stream where you can plug the 2 books that you published this year. All right.
I wasn't going to tell you about it. I'm just fucking novella over here.
Yeah, Johnny, I have to say you're the only person in this chat who hasn't published a book this year, self-published or otherwise. Oh, actually, Brendan as well. So never mind.
Hey, I want to hear about Pete's book.
There's 2 of them, Brendan. We'll get to that. Just for the people who are watching and who have their Hot Burns and Black Retro Gourmet kits, still a knock from the Dulla, from Chris Hertelaer, who's the brewer there. Brendan, I know you've talked to him before. You guys have probably all talked to him as well. Brewery celebrating its 40th birthday this year. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to try the XL, the Dulla special beer that they put out for it, but one of the real forerunners, along with La Chouffe and a couple of others, of the sort of Belgian Renaissance in the 1980s. Still a Noct. It's a Belgian Christmas beer. It doesn't look like a Belgian Christmas beer, but it is the most garlanded Belgian Christmas beer. I think it's won the annual best Christmas beer of the year at the Christmas Beer Festival 5, 6, maybe 7 times. I don't know if you guys, Brendan, you've probably been there, to the annual Christmas Beer Festival in Essen outside of Antwerp. Have you been there, guys?
I've been, yeah.
What happened there? Because I'm in the book I'm writing at the moment. That's important research. I didn't know there was a festival.
what happens there
It's
stays there.
one of the best festivals in Belgium.
It is one of the most alcoholic festivals in Belgium. So for anybody who doesn't know, Ober, which is the... So in Belgium you have Zitos, which I think is the Belgian analog of Camera for any of the UK people. And they have regional and local branches. And in Essen, outside of Antwerp, it's on the Dutch border, they have Ober, and every year they throw a 2-day Christmas beer festival where the only qualifications are you have to be a Christmas beer and you have to be brewed in Belgium. Second categorization is important because you get a lot of Mikkeler and you get a lot of Tool beers at that festival. But they have about 120, 150 Christmas beers. Some of them served in bottles, some of them served on tap. And it is, without doubt, the most alcoholic beer festival that you are ever likely to visit. I think probably the lowest ABV beer there is about 6%. 7 probably. Père Noël actually is on the lower end of the spectrum, what we were drinking earlier. It is an intense beer festival, and it gets rowdy. I can't...
You know what I found out in my second trip there, Owen, was the way to do the Curse Beer Festival is, I went on Saturday, but I went back on Sunday. And Saturday, everyone's lining up, everyone's bumping into each other. It's a mad old mess. But on Sunday, it's so quiet. Like, I went there at about 1 o'clock. So quiet. You can get anything you want. No lineup, no problem. Just brilliant. Great time.
It is, I think, the most Belgian of the Belgian beer festivals. And it is absolutely something that you should definitely visit. I went there on a Saturday. Rookie mistake. By myself. Also a mistake. No social control when you go to a beer festival like that by yourself. And I remember waking up on the train just as it was pulling in to Brussels Zuid, Brussels Midi, which, as anybody knows, is the very last station in Brussels that you can get off before you end up in Ghent, or somewhere worse than that. And it was just like, ugh, what a mess. But anyway, it didn't happen this year, obviously. Normally it would be probably this weekend or next weekend. Johnny,
I
next
think,
year, 2021, come to Belgium.
I think they used to have it just you could turn up and go in, but since about 2015 they had so much interest and so many people that they did like a pre-registration. So you effectively had to book your ticket months in advance to be able to get in on either of the days. And there's it's right on the Dutch border, so there's a big kind of a lot of Dutch people come over, and for some reason there's a lot of UK people come over as well. So it's kind of does have an international vibe to it. Yeah, but it's a very strange and wonderful festival.
Because this is my live stream, I can plug an article I wrote for Ferment, which should be coming out in the Christmas edition at some point in the next couple of weeks. You can read it there. But yeah, well, it's a wonderful beer. I mean, it is. I can feel the alcohol. It's a big step up from the 7 and even the 8.5%. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of it, whether you're enjoying it, and if you're not drinking that, what you are drinking. I suppose we can do what we've done for the for the other two sections, just check in and see like what Christmas is looking like for you guys. Stephen, maybe you can start as the furthest from where we are right now. How's it looking for you?
Well, I'll start with I got a present in the mail today, Owen. One that I bought for myself, but it arrived today. I took it as a sign.
I mean, you're a man of good taste, Stephen. What can I say?
Now, every year at Christmas, my wife Maggie and I head south to Mexico. And around July of this year, when things were looking pretty good, we said, you know what? Let's go ahead and book our Christmas vacation. Obviously, things are a little dodgier, but we've looked into it, and we've decided that we can still go ahead with it. Because we go down to the furthest south in Mexico that you can go. And this time, well, most times we do is we stay at a resort. So it's all self-contained. All the restaurants are outdoors, and we feel pretty safe about doing that. So we're going ahead with that. We leave in 2 weeks tomorrow. So that's Christmas for me.
What's a Mexican Christmas look like?
Basically, it's. I used to refer to this as, this was my break from life. Being a freelancer, it's always go, go, go. It's always trying to hustle the next thing, trying to find the next idea. And then at Christmas, it's like, okay, leave the computer behind. Don't worry about email. Don't worry about anything. I try to get a little exercise in the morning just so I don't go completely to hell. And then spend the rest of the day lying by the pool and drinking. So it's not so bad.
I've heard of worse Christmases, to be honest.
Especially when you're coming from Canada, and it's starting to get. We've had a fairly mild winter so far. I've got to say it's been pretty good, but it's starting to get cold. We had our first snow yesterday. It's gone now, but it was here yesterday, and it's disgusting. So to be able to get onto a plane, and you get off the plane and the sun's shining and it's 28 degrees or 32 degrees or something like that. It's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Switching abruptly and brusquely to Belgium. Brendan, I mean, we're both from Ireland. I know you would regularly go back. Your Christmas is looking a little bit different this time.
Yeah, so this will be the first time I've been in Belgium for Christmas. So I don't really know what to expect. I mean, we always go home for a good week and a half, 2 weeks to Ireland and see all the family and go around the houses. And I have two very young kids right now, so it's kind of a shame that we can't, get them to meet, most of the family. I guess it'll be very low key. I mean, we're not even going to be able to meet my wife's family because of the lockdown restrictions. So I guess that'll be. Yeah, just a kind of doing bottles, changing nappies, and trying to catch up and sleep every once in a while. Our oven just broke, so roasting a dinner is even going to be a challenge. So we're just kind of trying to remain positive, and when the babies sleep, we can maybe catch up on 2 or 3 hours, and that would be a fantastic Christmas.
I have to say though, and I did comment on this. You're doing well to get the Christmas tree in before Sinterklaas. So, people who have been watching, we talked about Sinterklaas earlier on. He's sort of the Belgian Santa Claus who comes on December 6th. In our household, we're not allowed to talk about Christmas before Sinterklaas has taken place because that feels like one cultural tradition running roughshod over the other. So I'm not allowed to talk about buying a Christmas tree until Monday. But as soon as Monday comes, I will be looking at the websites for the most ethically sourced, green, pretentious Christmas tree I can find, and I will be putting it up in my house and putting the star on the top because that's my job as the, Irish man in the house. But Pete, what about you? 2 books down, one more to go. It's only a couple of weeks left in December.
I'm going to finish it. They are all very short. They are the 3 shortest books I've read, let's just say.
Yeah.
But no, we normally have Christmas here, so we're going to be doing that again with a few changes. We've been very careful through the whole COVID, both pre-existing health conditions that mean that we're kind of fucked if we catch it, basically. Yeah. So we've got some friends coming around. Everyone's isolating for 10 days before Christmas Day. And then I'll be cooking the turkey. The big difference this year is we've got a little crap IKEA gazebo in the garden, and we've got a heater plugged into there now, and loads of fairy lights, and so we've got our own little Christmas grotto. So we're going to have some outside drinks, and then Christmas dinner around the table with lots and lots of different alcohol.
Yeah, we can get into what kind of beers you go for. Yeah, we my wife, she invested in a fire pit. From IKEA. Nice. Well, I wasn't from IKEA, but we've been just burning wood to beat the band for the last couple of weeks. I know it's not what you're supposed to do in the city centre, but it's warm and you can sit outside with a friend and drink a beer and feel normal. But Johnny, you've been sitting there very patiently, quietly. How's your Christmas looking? And more importantly, did you crack the beer? You haven't cracked the mince pies yet.
I haven't cracked the mince pie. I'll do it in a sec. I realised I didn't bring a glass here because I was doing a live show elsewhere before this and I was just drinking cans. So I don't have a bottle opener or a glass, which is the curse of the modern beer geek. My Christmas is looking pretty normal. We're going to go see Heather's parents. We're going to self-isolate beforehand. We had the worst the worst fucking Christmas last Christmas, so it can only be better than that. So everyone else is like, oh, it's going to be rubbish this year. We're like, hey, so long as everybody doesn't get a bug that means they vomit for the entire 3-day festival, then it's going to be better than last year. So I'm looking forward to it.
That is, Johnny, I mean, you're reading my notes here. That is a seamless professional segue into what I wanted to talk to you guys about, which was best, worst Christmas memories. How do you feel about reliving Christmas 2019? What the hell happened to you?
So I live in North London. My brother lives in South London, and we were supposed to be headed to his, and all the family was going to be joining us. And we were literally packing the car to go on Christmas Eve morning, and I just got a text from my brother just going like, "Don't come." And I was like, rude. Why? He's like, well, because I spent all night vomiting. So did my wife. Both the kids have just started vomiting, and we think we've got some kind of bug. So we were like, okay, yeah, we're not coming. But my parents still went. So they then went, I think, they helped look after the kids or something. And the next day, everyone was feeling better. So they were like, hey, well, why don't you come just for a couple of hours on Christmas Day? So we went. And then my parents were like, we don't want to stay here anymore. So at the end of Christmas Day, we drove them back to ours. And then they both promptly got ill. So me and my wife then had to go stay in a hotel for a night while my parents were desperately ill in our tiny flat. And then we finally got home the next day we had like PTSD. It was just...
Did they clean up after themselves?
Yes, but they were excellent about that. We didn't come back to I don't want to think about it. But, yeah, that was Christmas 2019. I'll tell you what, we kind of knew that this was the start of something bad, and then 2020 happened. So I think patient zero might have been my brother and his wife and Catherine.
In the chat, if anybody if anybody can match Johnny's terrible Christmas last year, I was going to say, thinking back on Christmases past, Brendan, I don't know if did you experience this up north, but it was a not infrequent occurrence in my dad's house in County Kerry that we would lose electricity for 3 or 4 or a whole week, 3 or 4 days, a whole week, and we would have to sit down next to the Super Sir gas heater, which
I remember the Super Sir.
You remember? I mean, there's barely an Irish child who grew up in the 90s who doesn't remember Super Sir. And you would have to sit there like getting the heat and the fumes and just like blissing out on the couch. And I remember we made jelly, and we left it out. We forgot to put it in the fridge, and of course we left it out on the countertop. We came in the next morning and it was set hard because there was no heating, there was no electricity. We couldn't watch TV, we couldn't do anything. The house smelt of damp. I'm really painting in Angela's ashes, Frank McCourt style.
Yeah, it's like 1950. It's like,
well, the house.
You grew up in the 1950s.
Yeah, well, it was an old peasant's house in County Kerry. You can imagine, you know, what's the film? Ryan's Daughter, that sort of thing.
Owen, you look surprisingly young for someone who's 120 years old.
Yeah, it's the poachine that comes down from the mountains that keeps you eternally youthful. What about you guys? Good memories? I mean, I remember doing the podcast. Somebody pulled me up on the fact that I was always leaning towards the bad rather than the good, the positive rather the negative instead of the positive. Any good Christmas memories recently? I mean,
we had one.
Stephen, we're gonna gloss over your Mexican Christmas fajitas or whatever, but maybe one of the other guys.
Well, we had one about 10 years ago. That it was like a shit Hallmark Christmas film, and that everything looked like it was going to be heading towards disaster, and it had a happy ending. So we moved into this house a long time ago, and had a very old, antiquated kitchen and bathroom, and it got to the stage where they were literally falling apart. We were going to have to move out if we didn't get the kitchen and bathroom redone. Couldn't afford it, but we had to do it. And we bought our new kitchen from a furniture store called MFI. Mm-hmm. And after I'd bought it and paid £11,000 for it, MFI went bust and just disappeared. And so I got the money back because fortunately I put it on a credit card. But then it took about 2 weeks out of our schedule, and the builders were like, there's no way we're going to get this finished for Christmas. And tempers frayed and everything was out. We spent 3 months living in brick dust and just had a microwave and a fridge, and it was all fucking horrible. No toilets for weeks and stuff. And it got to the 22nd, and they said, well, we'll rush and we'll try and finish it. And they finished it. And on the 23rd, the whole house was still just like covered in brick dust. Found a number of these industrial cleaners. And it was like 350 quid. And we just went out and said, just do it. And we came back and the house was sparkling. And so it was midday on Christmas Day, on Christmas Eve, when we finally knew that we were going to be able to have a proper Christmas. And I got a turkey last thing, and I got a new knife to celebrate. And that Christmas dinner was the best one I've ever cooked. And I was slicing slices of fresh, juicy turkey perfectly off this bird in a way that I've only ever seen on adverts before or since. And it was just like, yep, Merry Christmas to all of us. The Christmas angels are watching over us and all that kind of shit.
Is that the best one or the worst one?
Well, that's what I mean. It was looking like the worst one, and it turned into the best. So the whole night channel's got a lot of films on with plots that are even chunkier than that at the moment, in which that's the basic dynamic. Apparently, there's a Dolly Parton one where she's. Oh, and I was going to guess. All right, Dolly Parton turns out to be an angel, which I think is the fact anyway. But it's that kind of thing. It's all going terribly wrong, and then it turns around at the last minute.
We'll have no bad words said about Dolly Parton, whose sterling effort has helped provide vaccines, or will provide COVID vaccines to millions of people in the US. What about you, Brendan?
Can I pop in and say something shit about Wings, though?
Wings, the band?
Yeah. I heard you hate Wings.
Okay.
I like chicken wings.
Okay, that's Stephen. It's been lovely to talk to you. We'll see you again soon. No. What about you, Brendan? Anything comes to mind when we talk about good, bad Christmases?
I'm a kind of a Christmas person just because it's such a family occasion, and I have a pretty big family. We always meet up, the close family, on Christmas Day, and then Christmas Day after Christmas, which the Free Staters call Stephen's Day, and the Brits call Boxing Day. And we have like an extended family thing with all the different families come together, and there's usually some organized activity which descends into a lot of alcohol. So, all my childhood Christmases were playing music at those things and hanging out with my cousins. And, recently as you get older, and people come back with their kids, it's really good. So I think, my worst Christmas is this Christmas for sure. This is definitely going to be the worst one, but we'll just make next year twice as big, because even if I was at home, all those family members back in Ireland can't even go to see their own parents, can't go to see, that there's difficulties with quarantining because, people are working in different situations, or, there's different circumstances that prevent that. So I think it's just kind of, write it off and start again next year, hopefully.
Yeah. And then I'm sure there'll be some new traditions established this year as well, I thought I heard somebody who was champing at the bit to get in there. Maybe I was... No. Okay. I have to say this Still a Noct, beautiful as ever. I might crack open my 2017 bottle to see if I can do a side-by-side comparative tasting. But
very ambitious.
Very ambitious. I know, but I will say, right, good beer and food pairing. Johnny, maybe you want to take this up for your Christmas live stream that's happening next week. Anybody who doesn't follow the Craft Beer channel can find it on YouTube. Off-brand after eights that I bought in the Waterstones, which are milk chocolate and not dark chocolate, which seems not right at all.
Is Waterstone something different in Belgium? Because you don't buy off-brand after eights in a Waterstones in the UK.
Yeah,
Johnny, you've been to Belgium, right?
As we were talking about earlier on, if you want to buy English food in Brussels, and you don't want to schlep out to the suburbs where all the expats live, you have to go to Waterstones, because that's where they have the Walker's shortbread and the lemon curd and the Terry's chocolate orange. 3 different flavors. I have white and I have regular. And
we're getting a great insight into your life, Owen.
What'd you say, Brendan?
We're getting a wonderful insight into your life.
Oh, sure, look, they were the one bookshop who sold my book, so I'm going in there all the time. That's where I got my mince pies. That's beautiful
Very
stuff.
nice.
Is that homemade?
Yes, absolutely.
Talking of homemade, I might crack the old.
Go for it. We really want to hear because if you weren't watching earlier on, Adrian Tierney Jones was on, and he was vehement in his anti mince pie attitude.
Can we lose the comment for 1 second? I want to see if it's
on.
carbonated on camera.
I think you're going to have to talk us through it, Johnny.
Looks pretty carbonated.
Got ourselves a 2-finger off-white head there in a YouTube reviewer speak. Yeah, so it's a mince pie Belgian double. So it's the classic Belgian double recipe, lots of special B, a little bit of carafa too for a little bit of roastiness, but not too much. Toastiness, I'd say, rather than roastiness. And then we boiled, in a 20-litre batch, we boiled 125 grams of raisins and 125 grams of currants. And then at peak Krausen, we added 125 grams of currants and raisins that I'd made a tincture of in Demerara rum. And this is the first time I've tried it while it's properly carbonated. Quite a rum there.
We're sitting here with bated breath.
Raisins, banana, rum. Loads of banana.
Happy Christmas.
I'll take that.
He's a happy man. He's a happy man. Christmas has been
It's a lot of rum. It's supposed to be 7%. I think it might be
closer to 9.
Significantly stronger than that. But I'm very happy with that.
I have to say, right, and I was being mean, but when Johnny, so they did their video on Wednesday, and you should look it up on YouTube because it's really interesting, and I really do love your homebrewing stuff. But Johnny, in his decision to taste a classic Belgian double, decided he did not want to taste Westmalle double, which would be too obvious, but he went for La Trappe double. Now, anybody who knows their Belgian beers, and you can see the reactions already, will know that La Trappe comes from the Netherlands.
But I mean, I will repeat, I don't think I said a classic Belgian double. Or did I literally say that?
True. Well, I don't know if you exactly said that, but the style is Belgian.
The style is Belgian, exactly. So that's kind of what I meant. We nearly made a horrible error as well with the thumbnail. Originally, it was going to say Belgian double, and Brad had put Belgium double, and I was like, the internet will be fucking livid if we do that. And I didn't clock it until the last minute. But then we got rid of the whole word because I don't really know what happened. But
that'd be
so
a question.
many near.
I mean, it's not a style. I mean, Brendan, maybe you're different. It's not a style that I would drink that often, actually. A double, you know? I do love a Westmalle double. I mean, but that would be the one that I would go for. I would not necessarily go for another, you know? I don't know, Brendan, what do you think? Like,
Well, I think most doubles are the kind of classic either Trappist or Belgian family breweries, and those that would be teetering on the double tend to be like the kind of the brown ale of a lot of Belgian breweries, like the Bruintje, which pushes from 6 to 8% and sort of does the job for them of being their double in the range. So you're right. There's not a whole bunch outside the classic, available from the Belgian family brewers or the Trappists.
Everyone talks about Westmalle, so I wanted to put something different in there, but instant regret.
We're only messing with you. Don't worry about it. Stephen, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I don't think there's a better beer all round for pairing with food than the double as a style. And I'd extend that over to English browns. I just think it's a tremendously versatile beer with food. I can't get Westmalle double or any decent double on a regular basis in Ontario, and I would absolutely love to have that on hand all the time.
I've got 24 of these left if you're interested.
23.
Send it over, Johnny. Send it over.
I am. I have to say, after 2 hours and 10 minutes, Johnny, I don't know how you do this on the regular. I am absolutely bursting for a piss. Right. So we're gonna do two things. Number one, I have a bottle of Bouche de Noël, a 75 centiliter bottle of Bouche de Noël to give away. In Americans will know this as Scaldis. I pray to God that no American asks me to ship this to America because, first of all, it's illegal and I would never do it, USPS. And second of all, it's very expensive. But what we're going to do is we're going to do another trivia question. I'll throw the rules up again. This is not for you guys. You guys can take on whatever you're doing. For anyone who's been watching, you know the rules. Listen to the question. First correct answer in the chat wins. And DM me your details and we will... I will coordinate the distribution of that to you wherever you are. So, listen up. Name the missing wise man. So there are 3 of them. For anyone who knows their nativity, whoever's done a nativity play. Melchior, Casper, and number 3. So in the chat, first person with the correct answer. No Googling. That would be against the spirit. First person in the chat who gets that right wins a bottle of Bouche de Noël.
And there's a drink connection to it. And there's a drink connection to it. To the name.
There may be.
There
yes.
we go.
All right, Emma, you already won something, so I'm going to give it to Juan Carlos. Sorry, everyone. In the spirit of fairness, in the spirit of sharing out the prizes, Emma, you already won the calendar, I think, if I remember correctly. So Juan Carlos, send me a DM with your details. If I know who you are, then you're based in Brussels. So all I need to do is to cycle it over to you. So you're definitely winning it this time. And before I let you guys go, or at least let you guys off the live stream, and you can continue to follow on. We're putting together our playlist. So if I understand it correctly, it's just going to be wings for everybody. I will just put wings for everyone. Is that okay? Brendan, you're from a musical family. Maybe you can start.
What do you want me to suggest? A Christmas song?
Yeah.
What about that old famous song, "Nation Once Again," by by the Wolf Tones? Owen, how does that go down?
I mean, I wouldn't have tagged it as particularly Yuletide, but it's certainly certainly a festive song.
You can have Michael Bublé sing it if you want.
I mean, I think given what's going to happen on December 31st, I think we'll allow it. Pete, what about you?
I'm going to go. The song we put the tree up to is "Just Like Christmas" by Low, and then the music that I cook Christmas dinner to on Christmas morning is Victor Healer Hutchinson's Carol Symphony, otherwise known as the theme tune to Box of Delights. If anyone is old enough to remember the 1980s BBC shit but brilliant adaptation of the classic John Masefield novel.
Unfortunately, that's before my time. Stephen, what about you?
Well, I've got one for you, but just before I do, I don't think I got to give a shout out to the brewery that made the beer that I'm drinking.
Do it.
Because I don't think I mentioned them by name because I wasn't sure if it was going to be good. It is good. I quite enjoy it. Anyone in Ontario who's watching, this is Sawdust City's collaboration with Eastbound Brewing. And as I understand it, each brewery makes their own interpretation of the beer. So check out both of them. As far as music goes, last night, Maggie and I watched The Christmas Chronicles on Netflix, which is actually a surprisingly decent movie. About the first 15 minutes of it make you want to turn it off immediately, but it gets better. And there's a scene in it. I listen to a lot of blues Christmas music. And there's a scene in it where Kurt Russell sings Santa Claus is Back in Town with Stevie Van Zant's band. And it just instilled back in me it's a great blues Christmas song.
Okay. And Johnny, to wrap it up, please be quick because my bladder will not take much more of this.
Oh, I was going to take my sweet
Please
time.
do not. Please do not. I do not have the upholstery budget in me to cover up the mistakes that might happen.
I'm going to put one out there that is either going to cause disgust or delight, and that is Ariana Grande's Santa Tell Me.
I can take Ariana Grande. I mean, I would not have expected to take it from you, but I can certainly take Ariana Grande.
I mean, I had a much more depressing option, but I thought I'd go for the one that I actually dressed the tree with this year.
Does anybody want to plug anything before they go? Pete, you've got 2 books out this year. We don't really need to talk about that. No, Pete's
fine.
So Stephen has World Atlas of Beer, which is available in all good bookshops. Pete has The Meaning of Craft and Beer by Design. Johnny, stay tuned to his part 2 of the homebrewing video that they put together, the Belgian Double. Anything else you can let me know?
Live Christmas show. And our live Christmas show next Saturday with Ned Palmer, Simon from Real Ale Guide, and Brad drunk off his tits.
That sounds like a classic Christmas to me. Brendan, anything you want to give a plug to?
BelgianSmack.com is about the height of it.
All right, guys, it's been a super fun chat. Do stick around in the chat if you want to, and I've put the link to the after party, which is going to take place in about 45 minutes. I'm going to run to the toilet. In the meantime, you can listen to some Christmas music, and we'll come back in a couple of minutes for part 4, the final part of the live stream. Okay, guys?
Cheers all.
Thanks. Bye.
Cheers.
Joe, I'm loving the lights, Joe. Okay. Hey everyone, back again. We're going to kick off in a couple of minutes. We're about to move on to beer number 4, the final beer of our tasting this evening. I hope everybody's still enjoying it. I see we've sloughed off. Oh, we've gone from 40 back up to 50, so there's about 50 people watching. That's not too bad. There's a conversation going on in the chat about tuna. We won't get into that. Tuna is garbage food. I will take no other opinions on that. But we're just about to crack open our final beer. As I mentioned, unfortunately, you guys should, if you've ordered your beer from Hop Burns and Black and or Etra Gourmet, you should have a nice 33 centiliter bottle of St. Bernardus Christmas Ale. I have a hefty 75 centiliters, which I pray to God that I will not get through before now and the end of the live stream. Let me know what you're drinking. If you didn't pick up your kit, if you didn't pick up your tasting box, let me know what you are. I see we've got 3 out of our 4 people in the chat. I'm just going to throw them on in a second once I have poured myself a beer. While I am doing that, I will introduce who our next 4 guests are. We have Joe Stang, author of The Good Beer Guide Belgium, co-author with Tim Webb. And the editor of Craft Beer and Brewing Magazine. We have Jeff Allworth, writer and, for some reason, avowed anti-Paul McCartney fan. We'll get into that on the chat. We have M. Sauter of Pints and Panels, also contributor to Pellicle and other wonderful publications. And hopefully at a certain point we'll have John Hall coming on the line as well. But let me throw in the 4 guests that we have right now. We might as well get right into it, and people can defend their abominable opinions about 1970s post-Beatles music. Let's do it. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Joe.
Oh, my.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Em.
Hello.
Now, first things first, Joe, I have to say, you run my grotty little supermarket grotto pretty close with your flashing. Are they candy cane lights?
Candy corns.
Candy corn, sorry. Yeah. And how is everybody else going?
So my webcam is not working, and I'm on my incredibly crappy computer.
We can see you.
So,
can you see
yeah,
us?
we see you just fine, Jeff.
Yeah, you look great, Jeff.
The quality's terrible.
You look good. You're not looking at us, but that's okay. Claire asks, is that a candy corn necklace? I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it's not exactly seasonally appropriate, but I have to say, I think your Christmas jumper is the best Christmas jumper we've seen so far, apart from the branded,
This was my mother's.
It was your mother's?
1991.
Wow.
It was a Christmas gift. So, passed down.
Oh, and I wore this for you.
That's a beautiful t-shirt too, Jeff. That is a beautiful t-shirt. We're all looking very festive. Now we'll wait for John to get on, but while we are doing that, for everybody who hasn't cracked open their beer yet, beer number 4 on the tasting is the St. Bernardus Christmas Ale. But while I am letting mine warm up, maybe you can tell me what you're drinking and how you're doing.
I'm good. I'm drinking Celebration.
Now, tell me about this beer, right? Because I've seen, we don't get a lot of Sierra Nevada out here. We get a lot of old Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, but we don't get a lot of anything else. So tell me about it.
So it's a fresh hop ale. So Sierra Nevada uses all whole cone. Even in the pale ale, it's 100% Cascade, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm Sierra Nevada. Ken Grossman, I'm really sorry. But Sierra Nevada Celebration is the fresh hop. So it's just they grab the hops.
Ho, ho, ho. Sorry. We just, and we're going to have to cut you short there because we've just been dialed in from New Jersey's Central Christmas bar with John there with his, Joe, I'm going to have to give it to John, I'm afraid. He's got the hat and the flashing lights.
So I didn't know that it was a competition against Joe, but I'll take the win. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, John.
Merry Christmas, John.
Cheers.
John, I'll give you the prerogative. What are you drinking and how on earth are you doing?
I'm drinking Celebration Ale because that's what we do at this time of year when you live in America. and you love tasty beer with awesome heads of foam on it. That's just what you do.
And how are things in New Jersey?
Oh, just pandemrific.
Yeah, we'll get onto that. Joe,
Yeah.
How are you doing, and what are you drinking? I saw a Simpernardus glass. Is there Simpernardus going into it? Oh, look at that! What a professional.
I didn't get the whole tasting box, but I was able to track down that one locally.
What else did you get? Have you got any other Christmas beers stored away for the winter?
This is one I've been enjoying a lot lately from KC Beer. It's a Doppelbock. It's their winter seasonal. I could drink it. It's 8.5%, but it drinks like 6%. It's really deadly. It's delicious. Nice.
And all good there? Out in the... I got in trouble for calling it the Midwest. That's not exactly accurate, is it?
It is 100% accurate. Missouri is in the Midwest. Yeah, we are out in the boonies. Somewhere southwest of St. Louis. Farm life.
And Jeff, how are you doing, and what are you drinking?
I also am going American, but I'm going for the Northwest Winter Ale. This is a snowcap. We actually have a tradition here in the Northwest of these like 7% brown ales, which were, I think, originally inspired by an American misperception of what an English winter ale was. And then they became a minor tradition, and we have a few of them left. Snowcap is one. Deschutes Jubile Ale is another one that's kind of a classic. But they're sort of the regional favorite here in the Northwest. So I've got one warming me up here in the middle of the afternoon before I continue on with my day. So that'll be nice. 7%.
Well, 7% during the middle of the day is as good as 10% at 10:30 at night. So for everybody who's drinking along with us, if you got your tasting box, we're drinking the Simpernardus. Yours is not hopefully as big as mine. They ran out of 33 centiliters where I am, so I had to buy 75. But it is a beautiful dark beer. Simpernardus, I think I have to say it's probably one of my favorite breweries out there in the West Hook in West Flanders, in amongst the hop fields. I haven't had an opportunity to visit their new facility, but they have a beautiful new restaurant that looks out over the hop fields. Certainly something to look at once we're all allowed travel again in the future. If you're not drinking that, let us know what you're drinking in the chat. I see a couple of celebrations already. Somebody's going to have to explain to me why this beer is the beer to drink during the holidays. Maybe you can explain to me about the Sierra Nevada nonsense.
Nonsense.
Throwing a little Belgian shade our way.
No, yeah. Oh, we've lost. Oh, she'll come back. John, in her absence, come on. Well, what is it about Sierra Nevada celebration that's so special?
It's a celebration of fresh hops. It's a celebration of the changing of the seasons. It's an actual seasonal beer that comes out with the season, as opposed to some of the other large breweries in the U.S. that put their seasonals out months and months and months before a season happens. And it's a brewery that knows how to use hops and use them well. And this is, I just think, a supreme example of what a fresh hop West Coast IPA that is largely produced can and should taste like. I know Allworth probably has some thoughts on, wet hop and fresh hop, but like this is for mass produced for, huge quantities of it. This is just damn delightful.
It's so good.
Yeah.
This beer was first. It's an incredibly important beer. I believe you could make the argument, and I will now make that argument, that it's the first American IPA. First released in 1981, and it really has the bones of where America would head. It's pretty remarkable how contemporary it is, given how old it is. And for almost 40 years, people have been drinking it this time of year. So there's maybe it's an American thing. I assumed everybody got this deal, but yeah.
No, I've seen it come through the UK.
That's why we need the academic here. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
Were you reading that from notes, or was that just from memory?
No, he knows.
No, I got my head is full of only that kind of stuff. That's it. That's all that's in there. When we get to the Christmas music thing, it goes bad.
Yeah. Well, we'll get on to that. We'll get on to your controversial opinions. Joe, how's the Simpernatus tasting?
It's delicious. I also want to say I just appreciate how we get the last round of this thing. We get the extremely drunk Owen Walsh to talk to. This is the best part.
I honestly, I mean, okay, I will admit to something. My nose looks incredibly red on camera, but I think that is a combination of the fact that I'm in my upstairs room at the top of the house that has no heating, so it's quite cold in here.
Sure.
I have a blanket next to me in case I get very cold, and also, you know, the lighting makes it look like I've had more to drink than I have.
I
I've
really
been very
love how you
modest.
spared no expense on the production value over there. That's
Look, John, the aesthetic I was trying to inspire.
Christmas.
The aesthetic I was trying to aspire to was supermarket Santa Claus circa 1993. You know, you do your bit.
Nailed it.
That's
Yep.
exactly.
Nailed
Thanks,
it.
Em. That's exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought. Yeah. No, but it's been fun so far. I'm really glad to be able to talk to you guys. I've talked to some of you. Actually, I talked to all of you when we did the podcast back in the spring. I guess we didn't think we'd be back where we are now. We can get into that later. But how are things for you up there in New England?
Things are well. Our COVID numbers are not great. I don't want to be like the downer, because that's a bummer.
Right.
Our governor every day at 4:00 he puts out the numbers, and they were really bad today, like really, really bad. Which is a real bummer. But I'm doing okay.
You have your mother's Christmas jumper on. You have a.
I got look at this. Oh my God!
Did she knit that herself?
No. This is it was a Christmas present from our nanny. Got this from my mother in 1991. We had a live-in nanny because my dad was very sick. He had cancer. This is also such a downer. Jesus fucking Christ. Damn it.
I think we can predict where your Christmas musical tastes are going when we get to the end of the live stream.
Only Silent
Should
Night.
we put on Christmas shoes while you tell this story?
We're not. I mean, we shouldn't be laughing at family trauma. That's not fair.
It's fine. I left first, so it's okay. But no, like look at the guy has like, hold on. Look, he has, there's shit on the back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you got your Christmas tree up anyway.
Yeah, no, we cut it down Friday.
You cut it down?
You don't?
No, I go to a shop. I go to a tastefully designed, eco-friendly, ethically sourced Christmas tree shop, and I say, "Can I have your happiest Christmas tree, please?"
This is from a Christmas tree farm that's been a Christmas tree farm since 1860.
Wow.
Angevine Farm in Warren, Connecticut. So, but yeah, Jeff probably just like in Oregon, I remember everyone would just like walk into the woods and cut a tree down.
Yeah,
in the national forest.
Most American Christmas trees come from Oregon, so we have the home field advantage here.
Yeah.
And did you use an axe or a gun? Did you shoot it down?
It was a saw.
Okay.
They gave us sanitized
I feel like
saws.
I feel like shooting down Christmas trees would be a really American thing to do.
It was. If you ever come to Connecticut,
I mean, you could just pick the shot out of the tree over the course of Advent. It'd be like an Advent calendar, but for buckshot.
That's right. Yeah, and if you don't get all of it, kids, Santa Claus doesn't come.
Yeah, I think it's more of a Maine thing to shoot the tree down. Connecticut is classier.
Yeah, they give you a saw,
Connecticut is much
and then
classier.
it was really crowded actually, and everyone had to socially distant to get their tree, like because you get it wrapped and then you tie it to the top of your car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. I'm gonna reveal my like totally European sensibilities and say that I go with my bike, and I go and I collect the tree with my bike, and I put it in the bike, and then I cycle it home because I'm that person.
Your bike must be
that's
huge.
My bike.
Yeah, well,
is,
you have and I bet. Yeah, I bet
Yes.
that's beautiful.
It is a glorious bike. It is the most. I mean, you don't know. I mean, See, this is it now. You see, I've had 4 beers. This is when I start rhapsodizing about the life of a European urbanist who cycles around on his cargo bike, putting his children in all sorts of odds and ends in his bike. We don't want to get started on that conversation, but I will.
That just sounds like Oregon.
Hey,
That's what it sounds like.
in all seriousness, because I've never actually cut down my own tree. I don't like nature, but I'm curious. Do you have to like shake the tree beforehand to make sure there's no birds inside or anything?
Well, yeah. Okay, here we go. So you go and you look at the tree.
Yeah.
You know, and make sure it's a farm, so they cultivate all of them. And you pick the one you like, and they give you a saw. You cut it down, and you carry it. They'll give you either like a wheelbarrow, or my husband carries it. He carried it up the hill, and then they take a leaf blower and they blow all the dead needles off of it. Then they wrap it in this plastic, and then you tie it to your car, and that's.
Now, John,
Okay.
that is it's a very topical question, right? Because I'm going to read you the headline of an article from The Guardian today. Family in South Australia find live koala in their Christmas tree. When the McCormicks came home on Wednesday, the Christmas tree in their Adelaide house had acquired a new ornament. And that ornament was a koala.
That's just lazy journalism. That's just a lazy lead right there. I mean, there's so much more. The reason I asked, though, is because here in the U.S., we have the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, which is usually they take a tree that's survived for 100 years and they cut it down from somebody's house, and then they put it up in the middle of Manhattan, and the world sort of looks at it and celebrates. But this year, they found a baby owl inside of it after they had put it up in New York City, and it had traveled from wherever. It
was from like Oneonta. It was like Western New York.
Okay,
It's like 6 hours away.
a pretty far distance for this owl to have to travel on a semi truck and then have to meet Al Roker. Like it's just it seems almost unfair to the wildlife. But I'm glad that
to
you're
live in a fun
tree farm is
like.
responsible, that's all.
No, we checked for wildlife.
Okay.
I think they check for wildlife. To be honest, it's like Angevine family. It's like 6 generations. Pretty sure they know what they're doing.
I mean, this is a nice.
Can we stay on the tree theme for a second, though? Because Joe has a tree that he puts up on Instagram all the time that I really enjoy looking at, but I know nothing about Joe's tree.
What would you like to know about my tree, John?
Well, I mean, for starters, like what kind of tree is it?
I think it's a maple. I don't really know, to be honest with you. It's just
this is so disappointing. This like when I heard that we were going to be on this thing together. It's all I wanted to talk to you about was your tree.
Was the
and
tree?
You're just you're just disappointing me like all of 2020.
It's in this really nice. I do know what type of tree it is. I'm trying to think of it. Anyway, it's in this really nice spot right next to what's usually a soybean field. Currently, winter wheat is planted there. It's right where the sun comes up in the morning, so. I try to take a picture of it most mornings if I'm up early enough, and then if it turns out, then I'll post it on Instagram. I just post the same picture on Instagram over and over and over. That and my breakfast, pretty much. That's what my Instagram account. Follow me at thirsty_pilgrim.
You're living your best early 2010s life on social media, Joe. Back when Twitter was used for telling people what they had for their lunch and where they were going for their dinner.
Yeah,
those
that's
days.
my brand.
Those days before the world melted down, and
That's my brand. I post the same tree over and over, and my.
I want to see this tree.
It's so good. You can follow him at thirsty_pilgrim on Instagram. I'm told.
Thanks. All right, thanks, John.
One of the questions I had, and Jeff, maybe you can chime in on this. How does Christmas? So I'm speaking here from the old country, the old world. How does Christmas differ in America? We had Holly on, who was in New Mexico earlier on. But Jeff, like, what's Christmas like on the West Coast?
You guys probably don't get American movies over there, do you?
It's like we get like a 6-month delay, which is about as good as the camera that you're using right now.
In July.
There are no movies released this year. Do you remember? Because the cinemas are closed.
No, they're gonna release. What did I just got the alert that they're gonna release all their movies? Warner Brothers says they'll make all their 2020 films available for streaming.
Yeah, all of the movies
That's
nobody
what the New
wanted
York
to go
Times
to the theater to see anyway are now going to be available in the comfort of your own home.
All right. I had a very carefully scripted final 20 minutes of this live stream. And we can do that, and it can be very boring, or we can do whatever it is that you want to do and just interrupt me the whole time. That's fine.
I think you should do,
fine. That's
should do the script, and I will hijack it.
Visual Americans. What do you expect?
Man.
Yeah.
It's
You're
true.
cheeky
I
when
should
you're
have
drunk.
mixed.
I
I should have
love
mixed
it.
up the nationalities
I mean,
towards the end.
I like that you're 4 beers in and all of us are just starting our drinking time, but still more rowdy
Yeah, we're
than you
gonna
right now.
we're gonna needle
Look.
you a bunch.
John, I'm trying to be professional here. You know.
Why start now?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I mean,
Anyway.
I thought this was fun. I thought this was. I'm looking forward to this becoming an annual tradition.
Oh, I would
where,
really. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that.
I mean, I think you have the makings for it.
I feel though, John, looking at your live stream, I feel like you are trying to sell me a box set of Cuban cigars on a monthly schedule.
Sure. I mean, anything for $1 these days. The economy is tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that means. I'm trying to sell you cigars. Is that some sort of like?
We can't even. Was it
weird
like Cuban?
It's just you just look. I mean, compared to the other 4 of us, Joe with his candy corn, myself with the Santa's Grotto,
Whatever that is, yeah.
The worst mall you ever visited. You know, we don't look as professional as you. But anyway,
I did come up with a
Emma.
terrible Christmas. Remember your
Yeah, we
note
did
said
terrible
worst
Christmas memories. Hit me.
Yeah, I have a really. So I think I was 10 or 11, and I had the stomach flu.
Oh,
and so I was puking while opening my present. And it was like, I was so sick that I was like, I don't even need to open. I don't want to open my presents. I'm so sick. And my family's trying to open presents, and I'm just in the corner puking in a bowl. That was a really bad Christmas.
I will. I had an anecdote saved for the last segment, and Jeff and Joe, feel free to dive in with your bad Christmas or good Christmas memories. Mine was of Christmas 2006. And for anyone who remembers 2006, which was only 14 years ago, that was when MP3 players started to become a thing. So I don't know if that was before or after the iPod had come out. And I had mentioned to my mother that I was interested in buying an MP3 player. And I had expressly said, please don't buy me one, Mother, because your knowledge of the contemporary electronic scene does not necessarily match up with my desires for an MP3 player. And I'm being the ungrateful son. I'm playing the ungrateful son. I was only 22, so forgive me. Of course, my mother, knowing best, bought an MP3 player for me for Christmas. It was not the right one. I'm not painting myself in the greatest light as I recall this. As I recall this memento from childhood's past. And she said, "Oh, look, I got you this thing." And I said, "Oh, that's wonderful, but it's not what I wanted." And she proceeded to shout at me, and I proceeded to shout at her. She proceeded to say that she would bring it back to the shop, and that I was the most ungrateful son that she had ever had. And then, of course,
did she get you like a Zune or something?
No, it wasn't a Zune. It was like a Rovio or something like that. It was very sort of, and it worked fine. It came with its own software.
It was an RNG pod.
We're getting really into the weeds here. Anyway, the important thing is, I remember this memory because she then, after we'd had this conflagration, had to drive me to work. So she drove, and I sat in the passenger seat in the front of the car, and you know, there was this sort of a détente. Fortunately, I knew where she hid all of the presents, so I was able to rescue it when I got home and said, "Look, don't throw it out." But it was an emotional Christmas. But anyway, anyone else got any good Christmases? Bad Christmases?
I remember the first gift I ever got for Christmas.
The first gift you ever got for Christmas?
No. The first gift I remember getting, I should say, was 1984. I was 7, I think. And I got cassette tapes of Michael Jackson Thriller, Duran Duran Rio, and Prince Purple Rain.
Oh,
and
Wow.
probably
It's
still
like
the best
trifecta.
presents I ever got. Still, probably, yeah. Still rocking those.
Man, I hope
I
your
realize
kids
that
aren't
you're
watching
older
this
than
show
all of
and
you.
the homemade gifts that they're doing right now. They're going to be super disappointed that they can't top your presents from 1984.
I know, man.
1984 Joe was cool.
That was the Christmas I became cool.
Jeff, anything to contribute?
Yeah, I didn't have any bad Christmases that I know of, and I would accept any Christmas right now. This is going to be grim. We normally have a big holiday party with friends who live here in Portland. Most of our families don't live here, so we get together and have a great time. And this will be the first time in 20 years or something we haven't done it. So I'm thinking of that. I heard someone else on one of your earlier editions say this was their Christmas, and I'm kind of feeling that way too. So it's going to be grim. This is the worst one.
Yeah. Brendan was saying that just past that Christmas for him is very much a time of getting together with family from disparate parts of the UK, coming together back at home. And that this year, obviously, he's at home in Belgium and his family are at home in Ireland, and his family in Ireland can't visit each other. So it's tough.
I feel like I might have something to contribute there because we spent 14 years overseas, usually not being able to get back to spend Christmas with our families. And let me tell you, it ain't all bad. There's a lot of bullshit you avoid by not having to go back and be with your family on the holidays. And then there's a lot of things that you can control when it's sort of your own little household's holidays. That's pretty cool. So controlling the food, the menu, drinking as much as you want, not having to get into those political arguments with your crazy Trump-loving uncle or whoever, and it's not bad.
A question I had, and it was prompted by something I saw somebody tweet on Twitter, which is usually how these things start. Because we have 4 Americans, it's not controversial. Not in the end of December when nothing controversial is happening in the US. Christmas or Thanksgiving? Which
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is better.
Can you explain? Can Jeff or John or Joe or can you explain to me why Thanksgiving and not Christmas?
All food, no gifts.
Yeah, there's not a lot of...
Thanksgiving is for everyone.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the thing.
Not a religious holiday.
Yeah, it's the one American holiday we can all get together with. Native Americans have a conflicted relationship with it for obvious reasons, but there's no holiday that's completely free of
rancor,
some kind of difficulty. But otherwise, it's a cool American holiday. All you have to do is be an American, any American, and you're there.
You don't even have to be American. I mean, we've had friends from overseas come over, and if they were in town, they broke bread with us at the table as well. And there's no commercialism. There's no real gifts. I mean, all that nonsense starts the next day with Black Friday and everything. But like, at least that one particular day, it's the thing I always love about it is that time feels much slower on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
You know, if you're getting up early and you're starting to cook, and it's just everything just sort of seems to have
They show a dog
autumnal
show.
tones to it. Sure. Yeah.
You get pretty drunk and you watch a dog show. It's
yeah,
great.
you watch the parade out of Chicago where there's a bunch of polka bands where they dress up as like Ghostbusters or Star Wars or something, which is beautiful and wonderful. And then you eat some turkey, which isn't a great meat.
It's
you have the sides of the
It's not the most popular meat.
No,
that's part of the fun, right?
It's
everybody talks about how good or bad the turkey is, and they always say it's good, and it's never good.
No, it's never like amazing.
Jeff,
like,
come to my house next year.
Or not.
Joe, I reckon, do you probably barbecue the turkey, do you?
Yeah, Joe, are you shooting turkeys in the backyard, or what are you doing?
We don't shoot them. We have a rather large
Good.
hatchet in a stump, You think
is.
M thinks I'm joking.
No, I believe you. I've seen the photos from your farm.
I've seen, Every
Okay.
once in a while,
I guess I have to
a
follow
tree
you on
photo
Instagram.
doesn't make it, but a bloody stump shows up, and that's how you know Joe's eating good that night.
Yeah, man. It's I mean, usually we buy them from the store, to be fair, but we did have a few turkeys this year, and one of the now we're getting back into sad stories. One of them fell off the roost
Oh, I
and
saw
broke its
this.
neck.
Oh, I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So that, and I was all for slaughtering the turkeys from the beginning. Like, to me, that's what turkeys are for. But
Yeah.
the family gets a little attached to them, and then it's cool. I can buy it from the store. That's fine. But then one fell off the roost, broke its neck, and then another one got a hobblefoot, I think it's called. It was getting too fat for its not very good feet.
It was getting too fat. Yes.
Yeah. So two of our three have
Delicious.
been processed, and the other one's kind of wondering what happened to the other two. I guess that's kind of sad too, but she's still there. She's awesome. She likes to chat. You can walk around the farm and chat with her. She's very chatty.
Allworth, you're an academic though. What didn't Ben Franklin try to make the official bird of the United States a wild turkey?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
He felt it was a much more emblematic bird.
Well done, John. John, you had it correct. You were correct.
Cool.
That's awesome. That's great. Thanks.
All right. Okay. As much as I would love to talk poultry, even if
And
I
I'm
can't,
just trying to help keep your shit alive.
even if I can't fit a turkey inside of my what have you got on
Look
your
at how
laptop?
desperate this is. Emma's brought in her
It's
cat
Melbo.
to your show.
Yeah, that's it. Wait, this is a no cat zone. I should have said this. I do not like cats. I am not a cat person.
You would like Melbo. She's from Craigslist.
When I was younger, here we're getting into my traumas again. When I was younger, I had a cat, my sister had a cat. And my sister's cat tore out my cat's eye and forced my cat into exile. So since then, I have not been a big fan of
Melbo
cats.
wouldn't do that. Melbo wouldn't do that.
But moving on from my traumas, we have one more prize to give away, and it is the big prize of the evening. It is a
the jumper.
Bernardus Christmas jumper. Ooh. Donated by the brewery itself for a good cause, which was our merriment this evening. If I can read you the back of it, it says, "All hail, hail, let's have a Christmas ale."
Is that a West Flemish dialect?
No, that is English, Joe. That is English.
It's an incredibly banal thing, which is perfect for a bad Christmas sweater. So
Exactly, and I am already modeling the said Christmas sweater this evening. They asked me if I would wear it. Here we go. But before I give that away to the expectant audience in the crowd, we're gonna do a quiz, and we're gonna do a Christmas trivia quiz. Okay, and I'm gonna throw up, in case anybody wasn't watching earlier on. The rules are very simple. Shout your name if you know the answer. First correct answer wins. Everybody else takes a drink. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm out of beer.
If I want to just drink, though, I should
can just
purposely
drink,
try to
John.
throw my answer.
You can just drink.
Okay.
Okay.
Just want to make sure that I'm following the rules, man. You know,
Well-
this is your Christmas extravaganza that I'm just
I know. I
honored
feel
to be a
like
part of.
I don't know what the American equivalent of somebody who throws a Christmas special is, but okay. Question number one, and then we'll do 4 questions for you guys, and then we have 1 question for everybody watching at home, and whoever gets that question correct wins the jumper. But before we get to that, question number 1 for you guys: in what region's nativity scene is there a man taking a shit?
I mean, I feel like there's a New Jersey joke in here somewhere.
No,
and
there
I'm
isn't.
offended.
Feel free in the chat to help if anybody knows in the chat. I'm going to give you guys a little time to think about it.
So, do you happen to know that quiz is spelled typically with 1 Z?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Jeff.
I like.
I spelled that earlier on in a moment of panic. That's not helping your. Think about the answer to the question, not to your grammatical corrections of my poor spelling.
Wait, one more time on the question. What
Yes.
region?
What region's nativity scene regularly features a man taking a shit in the background?
Do I need to say my name?
You do, yes.
Joe.
Joe. Yes, Joe. Joe.
Nailed it.
Thanks, John. So I remember seeing these little souvenirs. That
Yeah, give us just
in
the
Spain.
answer. We don't need your
Spain, but I don't know that that's what they are. I don't know if that's what it is. The nativity scene.
I will take Spain. I will take Spain. So in Catalonia, well, politically may not consider itself Spain.
Is that still Spain?
The Caganar is a peasant who has, since the 18th century, been depicted in Catalonian nativity scenes as taking a shit in the background.
Wow.
So everybody else take a drink. You can Google it. It's true.
Sure, that's
Congratulations
fine.
to everybody on the stream. Katie got it right. Several other people got it correct as well. Okay.
By the way, I just want to point out that I wasn't laughing at Joe or Joe's answer. While Joe started
laughing
to
at
answer,
my cat's butthole, weren't
M's
you?
cat showed its asshole to everybody across the world, making it truly a remarkable and fairly predictable Christmas special.
I really appreciate your consideration that this is going across the world rather than to the 48 people in Europe and various corners of North America. Okay, question 2. Where is Saint Nicholas accompanied by a devil when he visits on December 5th?
Oh, Jeff, I think I know this.
Jeff.
Is that Germany? Yeah.
Nope.
Are you talking about Krampus?
I'm not talking about Krampus.
Oh, well,
I'm
I
going
don't
to
know
give
that.
5 seconds.
This is also could be New Jersey, but
Do I have to have a penalty drink?
You can just have a regular drink.
one more
5,
time on the question.
4.
Does Black Pete count as a devil?
No, it is a literal devil. You can see where these negative. Okay, you're all gonna take a drink. Czech Republic or Czechia, as it's known today.
Oh.
He is accompanied by the devil, and you can see where the racist undertones of that come from.
Great job.
Okay, question number 3. We got 2 more to go. Which pagan festival is Christmas said to have replaced?
I don't know.
Joe.
Joe.
Yule.
Nope.
You went
No, it's Roman, right?
Things here. I don't know if you're trying to comment on our Puritan roots or something, but these are.
It goes earlier than Yule. Let's put it like that.
I'm feeling like such a lapsed Catholic right now because
It's got
I
nothing
am,
to do with
but
the Catholics. Think before Catholics.
No, it's like, wait, Emily, it's like Roman, right?
Yes, you're getting there.
But I don't know.
No. Okay, I'm gonna count down.
If
you were looking at the comments, you'd have seen answers 4, 3.
Yeah, but
2,
I'm not.
1.
Yeah,
Joe.
I'm not a cheater.
Saturnalia. The answer was Saturnalia.
Do I get partial credit?
Honoring you do, yes, but you only get a partial drink.
Well, I'm out of beer anyway, so I'm just gonna.
Saturnalia honored the agricultural god Saturn, which makes sense. Okay, last question, and this is a simple one actually for you guys.
Yeah, you say
What
that.
is myrrh?
What? Say again.
What is
Myrrh?
myrrh?
Spice.
Oh, John. It is what you serve with gold and frankincense.
Drink.
In lieu of any other question, in lieu of any other answer, I will accept that, but that's not the right answer. Anyone
Do
else?
I get Carl Castle's voice on my answering machine? Is that how this works?
I thought there were scents, or like herbs and scents.
Well, gold is gold.
Yeah.
And
Gold is gold.
Yeah, but
Frankincense is frankincense.
And is it like an oil,
I have the answer. I have the answer in the chat. If anyone was quick on the chat, it is a resin. It is a resin. The answer I was looking for was resin.
Why though?
Why though?
Well,
who knows? The only thing myrrh
The
has ever been
Americans
mentioned
did
in
really
is
well.
the
We got
Bible
none
and
right.
Fernet
Wait,
brandy.
Joe, are you questioning those men who were wise and what they brought?
Yeah.
Because it's in their title.
No.
So obviously they knew what the hell they were doing.
No, myrrh is a resin. I'm going to read you from Wikipedia, and Jeff, you can jump in then. A natural gum or resin extracted from a number of small thorny tree species from the genus Commiphora, used throughout history as a perfume, incense, and medicine. Yes.
I bet you can buy it at Whole Foods.
I'm sure you could at this point.
Yeah.
We just really did not acquit ourselves well here.
I mean, they were difficult questions. I mean,
honestly, for the tens of viewers around the world, the Americans really showed our ass tonight. So that's
for the,
just
the almost
good.
Oh, I can't do.
For the half century. Okay. I'm gonna ask one more question. It's not for you guys. It's for the people at home. It is to win the beautiful St. Bernardus jumper that I was quite kindly donated from the brewery St. Bernardus. If you see their beers, please do buy them. They are really one of the more fantastic examples of the Abbey style. The rules are simple.
Clock?
The rules are the rules are simple as ever. Listen to the question. First correct answer in the chat wins. And you tell me what your details are so I can send that to you by post. Okay? All right. I'm going to ask you the question. First answer wins. In what country was Christmas banned between 1659 and 1681? That's the question. In what country was Christmas banned in the 17th century? I'm waiting for the comments to come in. I see a lot of people saying, do it, bring it. I don't see a lot of answers. Austria is incorrect. The Habsburgs, they loved a good Christmas. Chile, I don't believe that they celebrated Christmas in the 17th century. England, you are correct. The Puritans and Oliver Cromwell, a cursed name on the island of Ireland because of his genocide, banned Christmas between the years of 1659 and 1681 before what the English called the Glorious Revolution, which was in fact the destruction of Catholic Ireland, became supreme. So, send me.
This is the happiest Christmas show I've
yeah,
ever
I know.
been
Sorry.
on.
Merry Christmas.
We got real political real quick there. But you know,
Yeah.
Oliver Cromwell, we can't just let him slide. Send me a DM. I know your details. I hope you're in either Limerick or Dublin. But yes, the Puritans, they banned Christmas because it was just too much fun. But actually, I did also read that Christmas is actually quite a violent holiday back in the 17th century. Anyway, it's been hugely fun talking to you guys. I know I probably spoke more than I should have. But, you know, I had you guys on the podcast back in the spring. We did that, and it was finished in the summer. We didn't think that we'd be doing this again, but here we are.
Every year, this is the inaugural, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
Let's see. I mean, if there's COVID-20 next year, we'll definitely do this. If there's not,
I don't think you need a pandemic to bring people together for a good time.
I agree with John.
We'll see. I'm not a people person, John. You don't know this about me, but it takes a pandemic to get me to be
We'll give you 4 beers.
All right.
Built a bar in my basement just
I can
so I
see
could
that.
drink
I
by
am like.
myself.
I think we need to do like MTV Cribs visits John Hall in New Jersey.
The best part
His
about
beer
this
fridge
right
is
now
really
is
nice.
that this is all staged because everything else in the basement is a wreck because it's under construction right now. But this is all I want you to see.
When we move to the after party, which I'm going to post the link to now, you will see the beautiful surroundings that I have cloistered myself into. But for now, I'm gonna pull this live stream to a close because we are done. It's been hugely fun talking to you guys and everybody who we've spoken to this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. For those of you who are going back to your lunch, enjoy it. For those of you who are going to stick around for the after party, which I am posting the link to now in the chat, I will see you there. And let's see each other in.
Actually, I only came here for the after party.
Okay, well, I
thought this was the after party.
I have 50 cent. I have 45 centiliters St. Bernardus to get through, so I am going to wrap up the live stream. Thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you everybody who bought a box. I get a small percentage of that, so you know, the Walsh household will not go hungry this Christmas. Not true. But no, it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed myself. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it. Yeah, if the world is in a catastrophe in 2021, John, let's meet again. Maybe your bar will be finished by then. Jeff, Joe, John, thank you very much for joining for the last leg of this live stream. I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna see you on the I keep saying I'm gonna see you on the after party in about 2 minutes. Okay.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Thank you very much for coming.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Thanks, Owen.
Ooh.